how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Zoobox Live for February 10th, 2021.
Yeah,
At a new home. So this is going to be interesting because I still have like over 400 subs on this channel from back in the day. So hey, maybe we'll get some new scratch, you know?
maybe.
People don't know, we got a hard copyright strike on our Zoobox channel from the good people at the Abram Institute.
And they just cited copyright, right?
Yeah, they have like a disclaimer on their thing, which is basically for people not to re-upload stuff without permission. Like that's the gist of it. And I was like, well, that doesn't really pertain to what this is. This is a separate thing. It's it's Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. This basically protects things like commentary, review, parody, satire. Like it all falls under 107. And they have not gotten back to me. Yeah, they got back to me pretty quick on the first one because I was just like, yo, you know, can we resolve this just through email, just to ourselves? Because YouTube recommends that you try to just resolve it with the claimant.
Yeah.
And their answer was basically no. They said we need to protect our copyright, so we're not gonna lift the strike. So I was like, oh. So I wrote him a second email. And I kind of just laid out the case as well as I could. And I'm just like, listen, you are clearly in violation of the terms of service for YouTube by making a false claim. This could negatively affect you, and I'm not trying to do that. So just lift the claim. Just lift the strike. That's all I'm asking. Not asking for anything special or...
It's pretty weird that they can just arbitrarily strike something without YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, why...
Well, I think if I kick it further, it'll
yeah.
go under manual review on YouTube. The thing that I'm not worried about it because I know that I'm in the right. Unfortunately, I can't actually go back and look at the video, so I can't even see. You know, did I not talk long enough or whatever?
Well, I mean, I just don't know how people get away with watching like news segments or.
No, that's what
like it's wild.
That's what it's for. YouTube is just notoriously just unmodulated, right? Because there's so many people making so many claims.
There's just impossible
every day. It's impossible to keep up with it all. So,
but what would be the negative thing of doing a manual review then? Like that's on them.
No, because they could if they wanted to be extra litigious, and I don't know what kind of resources they have. They could just try to take me to court.
For what?
Copyright infringement, and then they have a bad case. I mean, it's very clear cut what this is. It's something that happens every day.
How are you not protected? How are you not? Like, I just don't understand how you like if it's like YouTube manually reviews it. How could you be held liable when it's the service reinstating it? Like how could you be held liable?
Because I'm not 100% sure if YouTube would be just like, oh, we're hands off at this point in the process, and now it's between you two. I don't know if that would be a thing that they would do. I have no idea. I mean, if they're in violation of like YouTube's terms of service in terms of like the rules about reporting, then YouTube should take action against them immediately. But I have no idea, Dan. Like the only thing I've ever dealt with on the channel is Warner Brothers Music Group blocked the video. They didn't strike our channel. They didn't do anything. They just blocked the video. And I appealed the block, and I said, "Listen."
So who decides a strike or not?
I'm not 100% sure. It says YouTube is supposed to, I think, manually review it or something.
That just makes no sense.
But dude. I can't imagine that they did. I remember specifically the video in question because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I got bored and I just shut it off. I just moved on. Like it was a very brief segment on a nightcap.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know. I mean, because people, all the time with the hot reacts things, they're always like, people leave comments like, "Dude, listen to the song," and then do it. It's like you can't do that. Like if I were just to upload the song, that's copyright infringement because I have to transform it. I have to make it my own. I have to add criticism or commentary or analysis or whatever for it to be protected under Section 107. Like that's just the deal. That's just the reality. Because basically, you can't hurt their market share. Somebody can't come to you.
Well, you can't make money off of it.
And I don't. We don't monetize. So.
Right. So I don't know.
No, but even if I did monetize, like it would be covered under fair use. I mean, people do this literally every day. Every movie analysis you see, every channel like that.
Well, yeah. Like, how do you get away with watching a trailer? Or how do you get away with, whatever?
Well, sometimes it depends. Some companies are more litigious than others. Like Warner Brothers is notorious for flagging shit. Notorious.
Well,
so
that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens over the next couple days. If not, we're here on a friend's channel.
Yeah.
And also we might venture out. It might be a good opportunity to try Twitch, to try D-Live maybe. They're pretty lax over there in terms of what you can and can't say or talk about or whatever.
Right.
Although they've been worse. They've been more hard edge lately though.
Well, that's the thing, dude. It's like this is a kind of the tragedy of big business. Like once money starts getting thrown around at the level that it has been, and the adpocalypse and all this stuff, it just sucks. Like, how can these people just do copyright or is it DMCA? Right? That's what it is, as far as I know.
Yeah, they did.
I've heard
a very hard strike on your channel.
Yeah, you're like, how can this be fair?
Well, and the thing is,
how can you be an upstart YouTube guy or whatever, and you want to review some content or look at something that is maybe in the popular sphere, in the zeitgeist, and then you're taken out of that? It kind of suppresses people.
Well, it does, and I think that this group in particular.
They're a cult. It's like Scientology. I'm sure if you would have done one on Scientology, they probably would have fucking.
Yeah, so they're going to be more like trying to turn, get anything that's like a negative or dissident taken down. Because I mean, we've made fun of Abraham before. We've talked about Abraham a few times, and whatever. I don't even know how they found it. It's not like we don't get views where it's like tens of thousands of people watching it that would bring it to some larger attention. So I have to imagine I probably tagged it in the tags because you want people to find your videos, and they probably were searching, and then they scrubbed through the video.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to click around until you see
you could just go to the bar at the bottom and see where the footage is, right?
Yeah. It sucks. I just don't see how they could even, because technically YouTube is the host of the platform. So why don't you just make a deal with them? But if they ever hit you back, be like, hey, I'll remove the entire video. Can you just take the strike off? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, we shouldn't have to. You kind of got to stand up for yourself a little bit because we shouldn't have to do that.
So contact YouTube. That's what I would do. I would put a manual review. Fuck it. I just don't see how they can sue you.
The only option I have is to make an official claim, which they warn you, are you sure you want to do this? So it's because it's
why? What do they warn you about?
Because you can be open up to a lawsuit. You open up yourself for a lawsuit.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems ass backwards.
Well, because they're the copyright holder, quote unquote, and they can protect their copyright.
I guess, yeah. I mean, but why can't, when Warner Brother does their thing, why can you get that removed?
Because I have a feeling the Warner Brothers thing is probably a bot, because they're part of the content ID system on YouTube, where they submit what material they have, names of songs.
I just don't see how they can do a hard strike. I just don't understand how can they do a hard strike.
Because somebody claimed this is my content and it's not allowed to be on here.
Right, I get that, but I don't know. I almost fuck it. Are they really gonna sue you? I don't know. Or us, whatever.
No, I don't think so. I would be very surprised. But you never know with these kind of, these nuttier people. You just don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know what they're gonna do or what they, how petty they are.
I don't understand why YouTube, you can't put a setting on that's transformative, and so it's known so that no one can DMCA you. Or
there was a time where YouTube was very pro creator and very pro Section 107, very pro. They were even there was a big thing. It was 2015. Maybe 2016, where they're just we will actually if your claim is valid, we will actually like hire the lawyers and stuff. Like YouTube will be part of the lawsuit.
Yeah, well, I guess it's also they're just too big. It just must be the insane
Well,
amount
they were
of...
big then. I mean, the 2015, 2016. It's just that so many people were getting pinched for these like false DMCA takedowns. Because if you get 3 of these within 90 days, you're done. You're toast.
Oh shit!
They just delete your channel. You don't even send you anything.
That's so fucking crazy, man. That is so wild that they could just up and remove your channel. Like they should at least give you 24 hours to post a video. And like letting people know.
Yeah.
Well, it's just weird. It's just weird. But like that's the thing is what we're running into is these closed circles of, I don't want to say power, but if you don't play exactly by the rules, you get removed. Mm-hmm. And it's like that was the point of like having an open source platform, right? Like free or whatever.
Yeah.
That they're gonna make money because people are on their website. They're getting AdSense or whatever. For every single time, you know, you click on a video or whatever. And it just sucks. It's like how they must be losing money. But I don't know how much it is.
I don't know.
But they got to be losing money just based off of if they're continuing pushing volume off their stuff and you're only having commercialized product. So like the new Mouthy Buddha video got put up today and I haven't watched it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it just came out. There's a couple I think I haven't seen. I'm pretty excited. I don't know if we could watch that on here.
I mean, we probably could.
Can you watch BitChute videos on here? I mean, I can send you. I can do it.
Oh, you mean on the watch together thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a
possibility.
Here. Screen share, webcam, Daily Motion, Pinterest. No, they don't have BitChute on here.
Wow, it's kind of shocking. It just sucks though, because like someone like Mouthy Buddha is like whether or not it's true, and this is the whole point of like just what I've been watching a little bit of the impeachment trial. Not like I'm not that interested. It's not as interesting as the first one.
Yeah.
This is pretty clearly ridiculous. I know one senator did vote in favor. One senator more voted in favor of moving forward with the trial. So it went from 45 to 55 to 44 to 56, I think.
Yeah.
And the guy's reason is like, oh, well, they made a better argument. I'm an impartial juror. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, you're impartial, but you're saying based off of like, you're telling me that they made quote unquote a better argument when this whole thing is unconstitutional. So.
Well, that's the argument. They're trying to say it's not, and they're referring back to, as far as I understand, like old, English common law. That was one of the arguments they made, I believe.
I guess I have no idea. I mean, as far as I know, it just seems like a wash. So we'll see. I don't know if they're calling, but they've been using manipulated media, manipulated footage, and tailoring it, like using stuff that it's not like they're not showing like a complete sequence of events. They're
of course
just kind of pulling from all different times and all different areas, and they're like highly edited video. And I'm not gonna lie, Trump's lawyers really sounded bad. Like it was awful.
Yeah, I saw some of it. They were just like they were lost.
Well, I guess one guy wasn't supposed to be there that day or something, and
was the first guy, the guy that really fucked it up.
I mean, like they didn't even know what, like how. Okay, like you're a lawyer, you're telling me you can't bullshit. Like I'm not trying to like say, you know what I mean? Like you can't get up there and like just talk.
Well, you think they would have a better handle on the essence of
these
of
guys
the
are
argument.
new though. These guys are new because other Trump lawyers left. They left. They dipped.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you're going into this, the idea that they don't have like a sense of like what their argument is, I thought was kind of weird because they felt like they were floundering. I think the guy one of them gave an interview where he was just like, yeah, we weren't really prepared, and then we changed our strategy after listening to the Democrats, their lawyers. So it's like,
if you get welcome, Carlson.
So it's like, sorry everybody. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's like, I guess that was contributing to their messiness, their lostness, or whatever.
Well, I mean, as far as I listened to, like it just didn't seem like there was a clear. It's so, as far as I understand, it's clear. This is unconstitutional. The way the Constitution is written, it's for office holders, not for people out of office. That's what the point of impeachment is. That's it. What more do you need? And then, hey, First Amendment. His speech is protected under the First Amendment, but they have to have these grand, long speeches or whatever, and they have to dig into the history. It's like, how hard is this for people to understand? You guys are lawmakers. But no, it's all political theater, and we have to play along, and they're going to waste millions of dollars doing this just to what? Prove a point? Like, if they still have to get another 11 people to move from Republicans. Is it possible? Sure. But, jeez, man. Like, people need... And did you see how they were roasting Ted Cruz?
Oh, about
Did you see that?
The Shakespeare
Sound
quote?
and yeah, he quotes Shakespeare, something about Sound and Fury, which is blah, blah, blah. And then this famous, 2 million or so Twitter followers, she says, oh, like, I can't believe he doesn't know that's not Shakespeare, that's Faulkner.
Yeah.
And then...
It's from Macbeth.
Yeah, and everyone's like, it's from Macbeth. It just, the disgust, like, who cares? Everyone just wants to get one up on each other, man. Honestly, like, who gives a shit?
We live in an era where that's what it's all about. It's all about, like, social media dunks, and, like, that's the problem with half of the journalists working right now. They're all these new millennial journalists that got hired at these institutions through nepotism or whatever, and their entire worldview, their purview, they're raised with, like, the concept of social media and and clout, and that's what they chase. It's very destructive, honestly.
Well, it's just not necessary, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like there was ever a civil discourse. Like, there was always some level of animosity. I'm sure that New York Times leaned a little bit one way, but they were pretty subversive about, how they stated things. They didn't want to be come out completely as one side.
Yeah.
But every mainstream media outlet is pretty much left leaning. So it's just the hypocrisy of everything. Like, every day, like, the CDC puts out a thing saying that they have proven that double masking is more effective. It's like, what do we need to do this for, man? What are they going to start forcing people to double mask now?
Well, that's going to be the guideline, and then there's going to be probably a lot of companies, corporations that will, say that as like, oh, if you want to come into our store, you want to do this, now you have to do this because this is what the CDC recommends.
Oh, it's just like crazy. It's crazy. And then the Biden administration is talking about shutting down all domestic travel to Florida.
Or putting them as flagging Florida. So if you're traveling to and from Florida,
no travel, no flights.
That would seem very specious. I don't know.
I mean, they're private companies.
Well, I know, but the president is not in charge of these private. They would have to agree to that.
Of course. But also, that's not entirely true. TSA is a federal agency. TSA can determine that those flights would be unsafe.
Actually, yeah.
And they may be able to issue tickets, but that doesn't mean they have to let people get on the planes. It'd just be that simple. Like, if you're traveling to Florida, you can't get on this plane. If you're leaving Florida, you can't get on this plane.
Yeah.
So it's getting down to this is where, but then at the border, they're allowing illegal immigrants to come in, and they're not giving them COVID tests. They're kind of just letting them be released. They're not deporting people that are violent offenders, whether sexual assault or, I don't know about up to murder, but it's definitely serious physical offenses. Assault, physical assault with a deadly weapon, DWI, hit and runs. None of that stuff will get you deported right now. So they're more concerned about the border being basically more or less open versus Florida because they have too much COVID. Even though New York has got hit worse.
Well, isn't Florida. All this? It's kind of performative because a lot of this has to do with the weekend. not the singer. But
Are you talking about
there.
this past weekend?
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was so many journalists like just throwing hissy fits. Like one lady even on the scene was like trying to get the cops to go do something about people not wearing their masks in a bar.
Yeah. And basically the cop says like, oh well, we'll have to handle it after. Like, and this is the thing is people are probably gonna get fines. They're gonna do whatever. But you just had the boat parade today, where freaking Tom Brady
got sloshed.
Yeah, he got a little. Well, I want to say he's sloshed, but he's definitely drunk. I mean, he had his
that guy
wits about him.
That guy was holding him up, escorting him. Oh, he's drunk as fuck. He was drunk.
I didn't think of that.
I didn't
think of that. I didn't think. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. I couldn't think of that. I didn't think of that. I was sitting there. I was like, oh, that's weird. It just didn't click that he was that drunk.
Yeah, hold on. I'll bring it up.
Oh man, he's definitely laying in bed regretting everything right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that guy is fucking hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Play this shit.
We'll turn it down.
I have to see it with these lenses on.
All right, here we go.
I have to. Yeah.
There he goes.
Oh shit! That like looks like Ryan.
Yes, actually it does. Yeah.
Oh shit! He is hurting, pops. That is fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah. So,
that is great. Hey, but did you see what he did with the Super Bowl trophy?
No, what did he do?
Oh, dude, type in, let me look it up. Long story short, he was on a boat, obviously. They're on the boat parade, and one of the other boats wanted it, and he hucks it.
No.
He hucks the trophy. Yes.
Oh, onto the other boat?
Yeah, he hucks it to them. I mean,
yeah,
it's
dude,
good 15, 20 feet.
He's probably drunk.
Let me see if I can find this shit. This shit is pretty funny. Tom Brady throws. Yep, there it is. Tom Brady throws trophy. Oh, here it is.
I have the video. I can show it.
Yeah. Throw the trophy. He's throwing it. There's like a 39-second video I saw. I don't know if you saw that one, but it's pretty like. Yeah. You see him? He's getting ready.
Let me see here.
He's getting ready.
Where is he? There he is.
You see him? Orange. Look at this. That's it, dude. Look how far they are. Watch.
Right here. Right here. Well, Dan, he just won the Super Bowl as a quarterback. You know, if you can't trust him.
That's got to be 15 feet. The balls. He's hammered, bro.
Oh yeah, he's out there having a good time.
If you go back and you look at the daughter, she's like, no. Like, please don't do that. Like, it's hilarious. And she's like, no. Because I mean. Dude, I don't know how deep that water is. Probably 30 feet. You know?
Yeah.
And after what Gronk did to the last one, I don't know if you heard what Gronk did. Did you hear what Gronk did with the last one that he had? It might have been 53. It could have been 51. So, like, you know, because that's hollow, obviously. I mean, you could tell. It's fairly light. It's aluminum or something. And Gronk picked up it was one of the older Super Bowl trophies. It was 51 or 53. And someone threw a baseball. Like, and he was holding like a baseball bat, and he like swung and hit the baseball, and it dented it, like it dented the crap out of it.
Eee. Well, there you go.
I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, but this is the thing, dude. That's America right there. Like, they're having fun, they're living their life, they're on their boats, they're outside, and people are mad because like you look at the pictures from this recent weekend of the Super Bowl down in Tampa, and then you compare them to a couple weeks after George Floyd died. The same amount of people, same number, you know what I mean? Like, it was same shit. Probably worse because people were like walking and breathing and running and rioting and looting, and it's the same shit.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, dude? What are you reading?
Oh, it's just like some. Or actually, I can probably just show the tweet on the screen. Let's see here. It says, "Why does Tom Brady look like Snooki here?" There's a picture of Snooki from the Jersey Shore, hammered, and her friends are holding her up as they walk on the beach.
Pretty accurate. It's fairly fucking accurate. It was a good time to celebrate, man. And like, I've never seen Tom Brady drunk. So that was cool. That's another thing. Maybe he really is getting ready to retire, you know? Letting it go a little bit.
Yeah.
But Yeah, but good. Congrats. But people got to make a big deal about it. Now they were like talking shit about him because he was holding his daughter. She's like 10. She's not like, he's like holding her and he's standing on land. He's just like holding her.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's having a good time. He's putting the peace sign up and there's a whole story to that. But whatever. It's just people are always going to find a way. And they're talking about how when Tom Brady won, people were saying, I can't believe people are celebrating Tom Brady's victory in Black History Month. This is so like white supremacist.
What are they supposed to do? He won.
I know, but it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I just don't understand why people give a shit. And because people should be. I think it was like Jamel Hill said something to the effect, no one should be celebrating this Tom Brady, blah blah blah, because Colin Kaepernick got blackballed by the NFL.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, listen, Colin Kaepernick was an okay quarterback.
Yeah, but these things they have nothing to do with each other. It's the Super Bowl.
Well, he is a Trump supporter.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
No, I mean, as far as people know, he doesn't talk politics, which is smart.
No, it's all because of the hat from 2016 that was in his locker room, and because I think it's known that they are friendly.
And there's pictures with them and stuff, but it's you're rich guys, you be at the same place or whatever.
I heard that Trump invited them to Mar-a-Lago because Biden's not having them until after COVID to the White House.
Probably.
Which I always think is a weird thing when they like.
It's a time-honored tradition.
Is it anybody? Is it any sport? Is it all? It's every sport, right? It's basketball, football, baseball.
Yeah, from any professional or collegiate teams usually end up going. Like if you win a championship, we're in the Rose Bowl, then you go to it's just custom. It's tradition. It's a time-honored tradition. It's like playing the national anthem at all sporting events, right? Well, I don't know if you heard, but the Dallas Mavericks said that they're not going to do it. They're no longer going to play. This is an NBA team, mind you.
Yeah.
They're no longer going to play the national anthem because people don't feel like, I'm guessing on the team or in the organization, feel that it represents them accurately. Like that's where we are, and where Mark Cuban is very supportive of China, won't speak disparagingly about China because it's one of the largest sports in China is
basketball,
NBA. Yeah, NBA. Because there was that Rockets manager, a couple years ago, talked shit about, he said free Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And he got almost fired. And China was like, oh, we're out. And then the way the fucking NBA groveled, it's so gross, man.
It is. It really is disgusting. I mean,
honestly, you know what they need to do?
What?
They need to make a law where no U.S. media can be shown. You can't do that.
No U.S. media can be shown what?
In China. None.
Oh, I can't do that.
No, dude, no. Why would you want...
You can't blame the people, dude. Some people just like
it's not
basketball.
About the people, but Sean, when the CCP is controlling narratives in film, or that they are blatantly hiding John Boyega because of the color of his skin, which is outright racism. It's just blatant, true racism, discrimination, whatever you want to call it. Or they're filming in China for Mulan near Uyghur camps where millions of people are, and they thank the CCP.
Yeah, but who's responsible for that?
Disney.
No, the companies are and the teams are. It's that's on them. But
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
You should make that. You should not be a U.S. company aiding the CCP.
Well, because
you're pushing their narrative and their message.
Yeah, or you could I don't know. You could maybe do something about fining them for engaging in propaganda for a foreign actor or something. I don't know.
Well, it's just gross though. How can you call yourself an American company and then you speak about racial justice, equity, and all this bull crap because Americans are so bad off? We got problems, sure, but we're okay. Where they literally got slaves and killing people.
And it was actually there was a recent story about the women in the Uyghur camps used as basically prostitutes, sex slaves. Yeah.
No, they're not prostitutes. They're sex slaves. They ain't getting paid.
Yeah,
They get
it's
paid.
just they're sex trafficking. You know.
I mean, like any type of human trafficking, it's actually there's a lot. I actually learned this by listening to Tim Pool because they had like a ex person who was sex trafficked. You know what I mean? And she's kind of an advocate now. Her name is Eliza, I think. I can't remember her last name, but she's pretty interesting. And she really, and they had, because I'm a member. You know, I'm a member of the Timcast, so I go to their website, timcast.com. Go check it out. timcastirl.com. It's pretty fun. But they get into it, and it's insane the amount of people trafficked in the world. Whether it's sex traffic, you know, because human trafficking also includes like imagery. You know what I mean? Like, so if you steal someone's, like when they had all those leaks from like the celeb stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's human trafficking. That still counts.
Just be a form of it, right?
Yeah, it's like some form because they still count that. So like it's obviously happening all over the world, but China is one of the worst in the world next to I guess like Africa and some places in the Middle East. Like it's so bad. I mean, these people they have to put nets around their buildings so so people don't commit suicide.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No,
Come on,
it's not
man.
good.
And we support it. And Apple and Nike and all these companies, it just goes cheap labor in itself should be illegal. Cheap labor should be illegal.
What do you mean, like American companies going to?
You can't outsource into other
and where they're paid slave wages. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
granted,
you
that's.
shouldn't.
I think that is more or less on the American public to do the right thing.
Oh yeah, but then all the prices will go up. Food
will.
prices are going.
They're going to. I mean, if you're going to pay people a fair wage, that's why they're so cheap. They're so cheap
Oh, they're getting paid
relatively.
pennies on the dollar.
But that's why they're cheap, because they go there because they save so much money, and
John, it's cheaper for them to ship them parts or whatever, like ship them shit and then have them ship it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like cheaper for them to send it across the ocean.
Well, and that was the whole thing with trying to bring American businesses back by creating an environment and incentives for companies to stay in America, stay in the United States, because that's what caused them to leave. We had so many regulations and stipulations that the companies were just like, well, we can go get it cheaper somewhere else.
I don't know how anyone can believe anything the CCP says. Like, I don't get it. And then the WHO goes over there, does their investigation into the lab leak hypothesis, and they say, no, it didn't happen. Like, they had a year to clean up.
Yeah, how are you going to do that now? How are you going to
Like, what do you mean?
I mean,
What do you
maybe,
mean?
I don't know, maybe there's
Bull crap.
some type of digital forensic evidence,
They're
like,
creating
a
super
paper trail.
soldiers, Sean. So they're creating super soldiers. They really are.
Probably.
They're genetically altering in the womb, and then they steal the children, and then they raise them as super soldiers.
We got a bunch of Captain Chinas out there.
I mean, like, we're gonna have to start doing it to just be competitive. Honestly. Like,
Probably.
no, I mean, it's just like the Russians. Like, we all know they've been doping and doing all that shit for decades.
Yeah.
You know, there was a reason why they were so dominant and feared for a long time. They had that edge. And then America started doing it and everybody knew what was going on. We all knew. Dude. You saw Tour de Pharmacy. We all knew. Fucking that shit, when he picks that dude up. If you guys haven't seen Tour de Pharmacy, check it out. It's got some funny ass parts. The ending, the latter half is not as good as the first half.
Yeah,
But that
it's,
first half is great.
It's basically like Andy Samberg and his friends. They've done a couple. The first one is 7 Days in Hell with Shia LaBeouf about what's the tennis player's name? McEnany, McEnany or whatever.
McBorg and McEnany or something. Yeah, something like that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Dude, but do you know then it's funny because didn't Shia really go star? He went and starred in the real movie. I think we're messing that up. I don't think that's right.
Was it not Shia in the?
Because Shia
Goof?
starred in the real movie.
Oh.
I think. If he starred in both, it wouldn't surprise me. But I know I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I don't think they did though.
Prophet stopped by. He said, just dropping in to say I love you, and I'll listen tomorrow while I'm cutting the meats. Keep me just the right temp.
Hell yeah, boy.
Got to keep it cold.
Time.
Got to keep it nice and cold, nice and chilly around here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we even begin to address these things, and it's just It's almost like it's too late. It feels like
No, but
it in
that's-
terms of like our associations and all that stuff, especially with China specifically.
James Lindsay went on a great rant today, and James Lindsay can be annoying on Twitter. Honestly, sometimes he posts too much.
Well, he's become a troll.
But
not,
I mean,
not to
yeah.
say that he's wrong to feel the way he does, but he's definitely has the vibe of a troll.
He's kind of like, I would say, he's not as good as Michael Malice, but he's up there. He went off on some people like earlier. I try to find him, man. He tweets all day. This guy tweets all fucking day. This is crazy. Like, it's every 10 minutes probably.
Like it's his job. Well, I guess he's kind of positioned himself as this being his job.
I mean, he's an interesting guy. Like, I can't find it, but basically he breaks down how to beat the system that we're currently entrenched in. And what his main idea is, he's like, can you stop what's happening from happening? He goes, no. But you can pour some sand in the gears. You can slow it down. You can, like, basically, you may not be able to stop it completely, but you may be able to at least slow it down to the point where it would probably destroy itself. Because eventually all they're going to have left is to eat each other, which is what we're already seeing.
Yeah, you already see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think he's right, and I think it's when it comes down to the hypocrisy of these companies and how they're all about equity and justice and all this bull crap while people are dying for their products or being mutilated, sex trafficked, or just trafficked, period, just so that their products can be made, just so that they can get a better deal. I feel like this is going to be an issue, because what we've seen with all this inflation of our money, if you have been following it, gas prices are going up. You're going to be seeing food prices going. Things are going to get far more expensive, like far more. I would probably I was reading this article, and the guy's like probably 30-40% more expensive every 6 months for the next 5 years. Like, so if you were going to buy a gallon of milk, like that's usually 99 cents at Walmart, it'll cost you 3 or 4 for like the crappy milk.
Yeah.
So like expect that. Like expect things to get more expensive.
Yeah, I would expect things to get more expensive. I mean, I will wait and see. I don't know. Like in theory, yes, that should happen. That is what's going to happen. So we'll see. I don't know.
I don't even know if it's a theory at this point. This is what happens. You know what I mean? Like every country.
I know, but I have currently, I have zero faith in anything anybody says about anything right now. Because
I guess.
I mean, I don't know. We just find money when we need it somehow. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
don't understand.
so did Venezuela. So look at them.
I don't know if we're quite there.
So did Russia, back when they had their what's it called? Their starvation or whatever. What's that called? When
the
you
Holodomor?
Well, yeah, when you can't eat and shit. I don't know what's called. I can't. What happened to the famine? They had famine.
Yeah.
And money was worthless.
Yeah.
And that was
Germany
also because
too.
they killed the farmers. Yeah, it happens all over. And is that they're acting like it's not possible to happen in modern times, but it's happening all over the world right now. It's literally happening. Go look at Venezuela in the 70s, Sean.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is America might be a unique use case just because of the way the system operates on a global scale and America's kind of importance in that system. I don't know how that's going to work out in the end.
That may be true.
I mean, just like what happened in 2008 with the banks, like there was a housing crash and some people really did suffer. Like, you know, a lot of people did.
A lot of people did. Yeah.
But we still somehow just magically fixed it. We just gave them people money. Like it just happened. And I don't know, and I'm not savvy enough, I'm not well versed or well read enough to really be able to read the tea leaves on that. I would imagine, just out of common sense, pragmatism, that like inflation will occur. And it's going to be about trying to slow down the amount of inflation. It's trying to scale it. If they can scale it properly.
I don't even know if it's possible.
Yeah, I neither do I. I have no idea.
Like, it's just like, you know, you're talking so much. It was 70% of all money ever generated this year. It's like all U.S. money ever generated was generated this year. And it's like all these. It seems like a cataclysmic event. It just doesn't seem like it's possible. And we're still sitting here arguing or not whether we should open up our economy. Like my friend, Both his parents got it. Both were hospitalized. Okay,
Yeah.
like pretty severely.
Yeah.
And his grandmother is still there. It's a tragedy. This is awful. And he's taking it obviously pretty serious. And he goes, maybe they're not the healthiest people. No disrespect to them, but he's like, maybe there's some genetic shit. I don't know. And he's like, so I got the vaccine. I'm like, hey man, that's okay. You do what you want. It does affect people. There's no doubt it affects people. But why would we shut down everything again? Like, we can't.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have to be practical, and we've talked about this 1,000 times, but it's more just less about like taking responsibility for your life and those people in your life, and try to mitigate your risk as much as possible. Like, if you have people in your life that could be negatively affected by COVID, then you should take the precautions, and you should do that. Whether that's to like stay away from your grandparents or whatever. Like, there are things that you can do. Anyways, what's the breaking news?
Breaking news: Gina Carano.
Yeah, I had
fired from the Mandalorian for an abhorrent and unacceptable social media posts.
Did they actually name it, or is this like a sensationalized thing? Because I have
IGN. I don't know. Is IGN a reliable source?
The Gizmodo article, because I saw it right before we went live. Because I think this broke around like 9 something. But yeah, she I don't know. She just kind of came out and said that like just the kind of typical, there's a difference between men and women.
People are saying it's due to the fact that she used the Holocaust as like an example for something. She goes, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? How is that any different for hating someone for just their political views?
Which is spot on, because it's about dehumanization.
But like
othering people.
It's pretty wild.
She's been embroiled in like minor controversies for a few months. And apparently behind the scenes, Jon Favreau, the director, who also he spearheads The Mandalorian. Apparently, like, he was the one behind the scenes being like, no, we're not going to fire her because of Twitter. But that show, all of the actors involved in that show are very woke people. And Pedro Pascal, the guy who plays Mando, the main character, his sister just came out the other day as a trans person. I have a feeling that probably had something to do with it.
So it said Gina Carano by some Lucasfilm representative. What?
I'll bring up the article.
From IGN?
This one is from Gizmodo.
Okay.
I can bring up the IGN one. Do you got it handy? Can you send it to me?
Yeah, I can send it. To you. It's pretty wild. It's just kind of gross and abhorrent. Like what? Like who determines what is abhorrent or not? Like these people, and like I've follow her on Twitter, and I follow her, and I think one of the final straws though is like on Twitter she posted a picture of her dollar bill over like a person's mouth, like taped.
Yeah, because I think she's also been pretty vocal about free speech. Like, I mean,
she's definitely a Trump supporter, like 100%.
I have no idea. She's probably kind of she might be more apolitical. Like, to have these kind of stances, Dan, is traditionally an apolitical thing. It's only been in the past couple of years where it's been like very illiberal out there, right? It's been the past like 4 or 5 years. So if you're somebody that's in their like mid 30s or whatever, and you've been insulated from a lot of this because you're a celebrity, you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean I can't like have this opinion? Are you crazy?
Well, it's just like the statement from the representative of Lucasfilm says Gina Carano.
Send me the article so I can throw it up on the.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Did I not?
Yes,
I swear I did. Okay.
It just sometimes this thing is.
Yeah, it doesn't notify. Let's see here. Let me know when it's pulled up.
Okay, it's up.
So it says actress Gina Carano. Is that how you say her name? Carano. Known for playing former Rebel Alliance soldier Cara Dune on Disney's The Mandalorian, has been fired from the show, according to IO9. In a statement sent to IO9, a Lucasfilm representative spoke on the matter. Gina is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, Her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable.
Which she didn't do, but yeah.
So, she compared, which I said earlier, she compared being a modern day Republican to being Jewish during the Holocaust.
How does that she was illustrating a point, making a point about like these things happen systematically and over a period of time. Like that's the whole thing. Like if you can demonize a group of people to like half the country, which is kind of the psyop, whatever you want to call it, that's going on right now, then that will opens the door to people being like, well, those people fucking deserved it. We don't like those people. Fuck them. And you already see that because you see the hyper reality of Twitter, and that's what Twitter's all about.
Well, it's just like, how can these people listen to a minutia? Like, how many like people own Disney Plus and love The Mandalorian, love her character? Like, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
No, because because there was a huge campaign, like one of these hashtags. No, I know, but all of this happens on Twitter. That's what I'm saying. All of these decisions are made based on things that happen on Twitter, and
stupid.
So there was like hashtag Save Cara Dune was the thing. That's her character.
Well, it was hashtag Fire Gina Carano, and there was.
Then there was like hashtag Save Cara Dune.
Yeah. Well, I guess sources tell Hollywood Reporter that Lucasfilm planned on announcing in December that Carano would star in her own Star Wars series. Those plans were scraped after Carano's November tweets, and according to the source, they have been looking for a reason to fire her for 2 months, and today was the final straw. Mm-hmm. She's been vocally against the use of masks in public spaces, obviously doing this year, insinuating voter fraud conspiracies in the 2020 presidential election, which I don't know how honest that could be. So, I mean, it's honestly, though, like, I really hope Mandalorian fails. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I never really gave a shit about it, and but I did watch it, but I won't bother again. And I don't even, listen, Gina Carano is not a good actress or anything like that, but whatever.
She's okay in the show. I mean, her character's fine.
No, she's fun. She's fine, dude. Like I used to be a fan of hers when she was in the UFC, and she was.
She's gotten real tick, boy.
I mean, she's kind of been. She got on the movie thing pretty early. She was
Deadpool
but years before that, she starred in her own movie. Steven Soderbergh, director of some note, directed an action movie called Haywire.
Oh, shit.
Michael Fassbender, Ian McGregor, Gina Carano. Wow. But she was such a bad actress, they actually had somebody dub her lines.
Damn.
But her physicality, but she kicks ass. So it was like John Wick before John Wick. It was like this CIA agent that got left out in the cold, or not CIA, but some sort of shadowy government group.
It was probably, she's okay. I think she's better now. I haven't seen that movie. I would imagine she's better now than.
Yeah, she's not egregiously bad. She's not any worse than half the people in fucking movies, or at least television shows.
Dude, have you ever watched Scandal? No, I'm kidding. I haven't seen it. But if Empire, just if Juicy Smollett can act, anyone can. No, but I have a real sneaking suspicion that they just didn't like her. Jon Favreau probably got fucking. I think he's Jewish.
Favreau, I think he's Italian.
He's Italian. Is he Jewish? Italian? I don't know.
He could be both. He
has really curly hair, so I was always.
Well, that's Italian.
Does Italians have curly hair like that?
Yeah.
Shit, if I knew, I didn't know that. But it sucks because you get fired for posting something on the edge of. It's a personal opinion, though. It's not like making a declarative statement. It's making a comparison, whether or not. It's like, should you be fired from your job because you believe, in your personal opinion, that what happened on January 6th was worse than 9/11? Because people are saying that.
No, I know that. No, I know what you're referring to. It was a Twitter thing. No, of course not. I don't think so. You have a right to your opinion and to feel the way you do. So, like, again, another example, like, well, what about all these actors and stuff that are out there calling everyone fucking Nazis and for 4 years? Was that okay? Was that okay to denigrate people by invoking the Nazi, the imagery of the Nazi, of fascism? Yeah. Oh my God! Like, what are you talking about?
Thing.
But at least she made a point.
She's right.
She just illustrated a point. It is a perfect example of how you systematically get people to demonize people and to other them, so that when they take fascist or authoritarian action against them, you don't care. That's the whole point. What's the Stephen L. Miller on Twitter here? He's got a good tweet about this that kind of just like sums it up. As long as Disney caters to China's human rights abuses and literal concentration camps for money, pretty much any excuse they use to fire an actor over offensive social media posts is beyond ridiculous. It's that simple. And everyone retweeting this in agreement will subscribe to Disney Plus. You're also the problem. Fair enough.
I mean, shit. Fucking people are showing. It said, like, it shows Chris Pratt. Like the young black kid. He's like looking like this, like looking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they're
Chris
trying to
Pratt
go
watching Gina Carano getting fired from Disney.
Well, because they're trying to go after him again. Like just the other day, because his brother's a cop. His brother's like a sheriff or something.
Yeah.
And he's worn the hat. His brother has made posts that people find disagreeable. Obviously, back the blue type stuff.
Disney canceled Disney Plus is trending.
Oh, there's definitely going to be a large contingent of people that will be mad about this. I don't know if it's really going to affect their bottom line in a larger sense. You might lose 50,000 subs.
Movies, Sean.
I can't, dog. I go see movies all the time.
You know what I mean. You can't go see movies in theaters at the scale like we were talking about with Sony or HBO, excuse me. And they're putting all these movies on there, and they're trying to grow this, and they know they're going to take billions of dollars of losses. Basically, what you said, right? Like it's going to take them a while to rebuild this.
Yeah, for long-term games. What Dan's talking about is that HBO Max is putting everything day and date on HBO Max and also in theaters. Right. They know they're going to lose a lot of money, and they're looking at it as long-term because every one of these high-profile movies that ends on their service will gain them subscribers, and then you get just people that forget to cancel or whatever.
Yep. Well, I mean, and it's I'm disappointed in American businesses. I'm disappointed in the quote-unquote America was founded on a few principles. I think everyone could, freedom, founded the America, not coming to North America, but founded. Our country was founded on individuality and the right to have your own perspective, at least. And this was not a democracy. This was a republic. Like, people don't understand the basic fundamental rules. Like, some people couldn't even vote. So like in Massachusetts, for example, you could not vote in Massachusetts if you were Catholic. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I did. Yeah, I did.
This was obviously way back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the states were able to make their own laws, and then
constitutions. You would have basically state religion, and they would They would say, if you want to live here, you want to live in Massachusetts, well, you're a Protestant. We're Protestants here.
And if you don't claim to be a Protestant, and we fought. It's kind of one of the most hypocritical things, right? Freedom of religion, as far as why so many people fled Europe to be Protestant, and then they're gonna So whatever. So we've gone through all these evolutions, but one of the main factors that has always saved the United States was viewing people as individuals, and then all of a sudden in the '60s with collectivism and the rise of collectivism, basically viewing things only through racial spheres. Mm-hmm. Which was obviously important at the time because there was a lot of racial discrimination.
Yes.
But when a majority of popular culture is dominated, probably since the 90s, maybe even earlier, but actually even longer than that, all of pop culture, we've always had influences and spheres that black culture really took a strong hold in. Maybe there was time where it was whitewashed, like Elvis, right, stealing songs from black people and so on and so forth. But they all did that to each other back then. Just, it is what it is. Bob Dylan stealing House of the Rising Sun, from a white guy. That's just what they did. That's just what fucking people did. Or Led Zeppelin stealing from everybody. Supposedly. I think they had to settle a couple times. Yeah. But you go through all, the black people have such a prominent place in our society today.
What, in pop culture?
In every aspect. I'm not in a collectivist nature. I'm just saying individuals, sports are dominated by African Americans in almost every sport. And that's great because they should be there if they're the best. Like, I don't care. Do you think I give a shit watching the Patriots if the entire team is black? Okay, I'll be honest. As a white guy, it's pretty sick to see Julian Edelman catch a ball. Okay? You know, like, it's nice. It feels all right. You know, you're like, yes, like, we got one. And it's cool because it's rare, because in the NFL, it is a minority. You're a minority if you're a white receiver. That's just in general, okay? Or a white key figure player. And then you look at the other side, well, there's a lot of white quarterbacks that dominated the role, blah, blah, blah. But now you got Russell Wilson, you got Cam Newton, you got Patrick Mahomes. Back in the day, you had Warren Moon. You had all these racially diverse groups of people, but you don't hear people bitching about Asians not playing in football.
No.
You know what I mean? You don't hear people bitching there's not enough Asian quarterbacks. Like when Roger Goodell just put out on this is true. He said, because there was, I think, 3 new head coach hires and none of them were black, if I'm not mistaken, and he was extremely disappointed.
I know, yes.
And you're like, bro.
Well, the president said something
man?
about it. Biden said something about it.
Yeah, and they also said the Capitol Police were racist.
Well, didn't Biden say, he's just like, they're out there, you just got to go out and look. Like, you do the right thing or something like that.
I don't doubt for a fucking second that there are amazing black coaches that could probably be at that level.
Yeah, but that's true.
I don't doubt it.
There's talented people that get overlooked in any type of discipline, right?
But it's
I mean,
not
how many
just-
great
probably not
bands?
just
How
they're
many
black,
how many
you know?
great bands toil away at nightclubs? Like, they're better than most. They'll be better than 90% you hear on the radio, and they just never find the context or the opportunity or whatever, and that happens. I mean, obviously, this is something that over time, in terms of, like, you know, a sense of equality, whatever, it does even itself out. It just happens naturally. So when people want to artificially do it, that's when people start getting defensive and they get their hackles up because you feel like somebody's like calling you a bad person. Like, that's what makes people feel defensive. Nobody wants to be fucking told they're racist or they're a bad person. Like, they don't want to engage with you when you start the conversation that way. And it's just I think it's just a negative approach. And like, negativity is often just met with negativity. Like, if you want to actually do something that's going to have some sort of real effect and that people will embrace and feel good about, like, just, you know, chill out. Talk to people on their own terms.
Well, I mean, it's just fucking gross that it's always through the lens of some sort of minority status, however you want to view it. You know, like, even Ben Shapiro does it. Like, I was the most attacked Jew of 2018 or whatever. Like, he says that all the time. I was the most worst treated Jew on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's like the right plays these things too. Like Burgess Owens, who used to be in the NFL, is now a senator, or I think he's a representative. He's in Congress or Senate, I can't remember. And some white liberal reporter writes about how, because Burgess Owens basically came out and said, cut the shit, like, cut the crap about all this like racism nonsense and in sports, like, it's not necessary. The best should be there, and it is what it is. Not saying there aren't going to be obstacles and barriers for different groups of people, different ways. Like, let's move on. And this white liberal guy like wrote this whole article about how Burgess Owens doesn't understand what America is anymore. Like, he's out of touch with what Black America is.
Yeah, because you're not. It's like what Joe Biden said. You know, it's like, if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. That's how these woke white scolds. These woke scolds feel about black people that don't toe the line. They just completely dehumanize them. They completely act as if their opinion doesn't matter all of a sudden. They just kind of literally remove their personal experience from life and their ability to express themselves. It's very shameful. It's shameful behavior, and it is, in essence, it is like racist as we understand what racism is.
Well, it's because like Burgess Owens' experience is being denied based off of you know. Yeah. And he said, "Well, don't white-splain to me." Mm-hmm. You know, which is obviously he's being facetious.
He's being facetious, yeah, but
there's no
goddamn
doubt.
Right.
But this is the issue though. We've been through a lot in the past few years. You know, we have. like Trump, hate Trump. We've been through a lot. You know, COVID, agree, disagree, still been through a lot. Whether how much was forced or needed to be forced, it's up for debate. New report for the CDC. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a doctor. Supposedly it was 1,600% over inflated the number of cases, supposedly. I don't know. Whatever. Look into it yourself. There's enough out there to say, we just got to stop. Like, what is going on here? How can we give these people power? And did you see what the CFO said of Twitter?
Oh, you know, didn't you send me that?
I sent you the 34-second video. Yeah,
I'll
it's
pull
like,
it up.
it's pretty gross because they're basically saying even if Trump runs for office again and returns to be president, they won't give him a platform.
Yeah, they're not going to let
disgusting.
him
It's disgusting.
on. All right, we'll check out the clip. See what
Yep.
see what he says for himself. I don't want to take him out of context or anything. So let's go on. Oop, fix recenter that there.
For you, President Trump was banned. Former President Trump was banned. If he came back, ran for office again, and was elected president, would you allow him back on the platform?
No.
So the way our policies work,
No, I will not.
when you're removed from the platform, you're removed from the platform, whether you're a commentator, you're a CFO, or you are a former or current public official. And so remember our policy.
Yeah, but wouldn't he have his POTUS account?
I don't know.
Is that like a workaround?
Mm-hmm.
You know what
They
I mean?
blocked it last time.
Oh, well, they blocked it. I don't think they suspended it, but anyways, yeah. I mean, isn't this what, like, you know, Jack Dorsey's like, yes, we need a path to redemption. or
To
whatever.
redemption, yeah.
I guess that's
Not for-
completely
not
out
for
the
that.
window. Yeah, that's over.
It's just so gross. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Trying to make sure that people are not inciting violence. And if anybody does that, we have to remove them from the service, and our policies don't allow people to come back.
So no.
He was removed when he was president, and there'd be no difference for anybody who's a public official once they've been removed from the service.
I have a real hard time that's such bullshit. But like, so people are commenting on this Gina Carano situation,
Yeah.
and it's like Jewish people are going, as a Jewish person, this is fucking vile and unnecessary, relating to what she said that I read earlier about Jews, and the comparison.
Well, it's about the treatment of them. It's not even
You're
about
right.
Jews specifically. They're just that's the case study. That's the example.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Right. And she goes, Gina Carano needs to be held accountable. The oppression my people have faced because of our religion and ethnicity is not the same as political disagreements. Well, if you decide to use the political spectrum to, like, I mean, she's making just the point of it's all about coming together, and this is what happened to the Jews. If everyone would have stood up and said, no, we're not going to hate people for their religion or their ethnicity, then it probably wouldn't have happened. But people went along with it, and it's the same shit that we're seeing. Like, the media is like absolutely disgusting. They're gross. These people are gross, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. Like,
And not only, and the media is already conspiring to bury the story because they released that Gina Carano thing around like 9, a little after 9, and then about an hour later they released Pedro Pascal, who plays Mandalorian, was cast as Joel in the live action The Last of Us.
Which,
so they're trying to have like
it.
they're literally trying to have like a counter story, a counter narrative.
It just blows my, like, if people support companies that have backbone. They do. If there's one thing, you saw it with like Goya, the bean company. Went and people started doing it because they would not give in. Red Bull completely disbanded their diversity like section because they were talking about how like white supremacy, and he's like, we make fucking Red Bull. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So he fired like everyone in that team. And then he fired the people that hired him. He's like, you're wasting my fucking money. We sell Red Bull, for God's sakes. Like, you know, it's like, why do we have to worry about diversity? We're fucking Red Bull. So it's fair. I just don't even know what to say anymore. What it's kind of like when people talk about Tom Brady winning his 7th Super Bowl. What more is there to say?
Yeah.
What more? You know, what are you going to fucking, yeah.
Greatest of all time, yeah. Agreed.
That's it. Like, you know, like I just don't.
I don't
like,
even watch
seriously,
football. Greatest of all time.
It's boring. Like this week, after the thing, it was cool for like a few interviews when you see people talking about it. And after that, it's like, yeah, what? Like it's over. Like he did it. Now it's funny that he got drunk and he threw a fucking Super Bowl trophy. That's been the highlight after the Super Bowl, because people that I'm not even gonna get into it. It's people are fucking being dumb. Obviously, you always have these negative Nancy's like Rob Parker. But when you look at this, it's the same situation over and over again, and these fucking multi-billion-dollar corporations just give in. But the problem is that, and what I think Gina Carano was basically alluding to, is fuck them. If you don't show up to those games, whether it's virtually through the television or in person, they're going to change what they do. Like they just will.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like, okay, let's say you don't like what the Dallas Mavericks are doing and you're from Dallas. And everyone in Dallas says, fuck that, we're not going. And they lose 50% of, let's just say everything's normal.
Yeah, it requires a giant collective effort, honestly, to get, because you got to hurt their pocketbooks. You got to hit that shit.
Well, because Twitter is not real. People are hashtagging and trending, but people aren't canceling their shit.
Twitter is literally the Matrix. It's the fucking simulation.
Well, it's like
that's
John,
what it is.
I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee you more people will get rid of Disney Plus out of spite because of something like this than coming out and saying, we don't view her statements like they're not representative of Disney. Just have a backbone. They're not representative of Disney, but she has her First Amendment right to freedom of speech.
Yeah, they're never going to do that. They're never going to do that.
But done.
You know what's the sad thing? This is the sad reality, though, Dan, is that people have more loyalty to IPs, to franchises, than they do to the fucking to the concepts that the country was founded on. They have more loyalty to fucking Star Wars than they do your right to have an opinion, and that's the sick part of it too.
Well, I mean,
that's the real sickness. If you want to talk about the sickness and the falling apart of the country, it's shit like that where you're just like, fuck.
Well, this is the problem. How can someone like Gina Carano,
please.
Whatever, Carano. Kamala, Carano,
Carano, you know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever. Let's say Gina.
There you go.
She is a very popular person, and that's one of the reasons why she got canceled. The same thing, Donald Trump can be removed from Twitter. They're going after Donald Trump for his First Amendment protected speech. And it's like, of course, it's coming for all of us. Like, it's coming.
It'll slow down once it actually starts affecting them. That's when it slows down.
Sean, these people are fucking insane, Sean.
I know, but at some point it will be undeniable that their behavior is too public now. Like there are people now, it's only now starting to happen where like you're more like left progressive journalists and stuff like that. They are now starting to get in trouble by the public. Not necessarily institutions, but the institutions are starting to feel the pressure. They are starting to feel the pressure. Like what happened with that woman. There was a woman. What's her name? Oh God damn it.
I know who you're talking about. The plane chick. When Biden landed. Is that what you're talking about?
No. There's an app called Clubhouse.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a Discord situation, right?
Yeah.
So there's a journalist, famous shitster lady journalist, who went in with a burner account and listened into a conversation between some other journalist talking.
And they
were talking about Wall Street bets.
Taylor Lorenz. Is that who that is?
Yes, thank you. Taylor Lorenz. And they were talking about Wall Street bets, and Wall Street bets is very memey. It's very internet culture, so they call it like the retard revolution, weaponized autism.
Autist, yeah.
They actually literally say the retard revolution.
I understand.
So somebody in there used the phrase retard revolution, like in context. And then she went on Twitter and tried to defame somebody that she thought said it. She thought this person said the R word. Apparently, she was wrong. So she had to at least apologize publicly, which is not normal. They usually don't. So to me, in a small way, and I'm not saying it's I feel like that is like a pebble on the beach, whatever, it's a grain of sand or whatever.
Hold on.
But at least it was something.
James Gunn joked about pedophilia
So?
and rape.
So what?
Okay, and he got fired. They rehired him.
Yeah, I know.
You have someone that is making a political statement, whether or not you agree with it, whatever, and she got fired. Now they're not going to rehire her though. That's
Who?
going to be the difference.
Regina Carano? No, they're not
Yeah,
going to
they're
rehire
not.
her.
They're
No.
not going to fucking.
She's going to be
rehire
blacklisted. You just went against the most powerful entity working in the business right now. She's going to be back to doing direct TV videos or direct to video movies that, you know, that maybe you could rent at 12 o'clock when you're drunk and you're like, fuck, dude, Gina Carano, dude. She's thick.
her. Like it's actually kind of fucking hilarious. So number 3 on politics is, at least at some point today, was fire Gina for her stuff about Nazis, like comparing what happened in Nazi Germany. And number 4 at the time of this screenshot is Kid Hitler, which is referring to Josh Hawley. So you're like, that's what you were saying earlier. It's literally what you were saying earlier about how the comparison, like calling right-wing people Nazis when they're just kind of, conservative.
Yeah, no, it's
like
ridiculous.
it's the same euphemism. Is that the right word?
Leonardo Pinto says pendejo.
Well, I mean, it's just gross,
Leonardo.
man. I'm sick of it. And the thing is, I really don't think it's gonna get better. I really do believe it's going to get much, much worse.
Well, there will be an inflection point there, because this what always happens. It's always kind of a cyclical nature to witch hunt stuff. I do think at some point, I don't know when that is. I have no idea. It'll probably calm down to a certain degree.
Sean, Joe Biden gets elected. Well, we should get calmed down again. And we had the riot happen at the Capitol. I refuse to call it insurrection. It was not even armed. The riot, bad, people go to jail. We get it. Fine. And what do? Fuck that, we're impeaching the president. They ramp it up. And there's no other reason to do it except to stop him. Like, we all know this is just to stop him from running. It's like, should be illegal. This should not be allowed to happen. To even broach impeachment is disgusting. It's gross. Ramping up even more. Now they're going after, and they've been firing people all summer for supporting Trump or for supporting police officers. Like that woman, when her husband or her son was involved, her stepson was involved in a shooting at the Wendy's in Atlanta. Rashard Brooks, I believe his name was, and he got shot, for firing her taser. She got fired from her job. Like, they don't care, Sean. I just don't think these companies care.
No, they're gonna go. I mean, it's the weird thing is, because I think some of them are just ideologically motivated. It's not really even financial for some people. But like, what happens in these spaces, like Twitter, social media, where these things really ramp up and they really get the attention of the corporate overlords or whatever, it is such a small microcosm of the people that even engage with this material, engage with this entertainment. Most people have no fucking idea what is going on with Gina Carano. They just know that they like The Mandalorian. They're not connected. They have no idea what's going on.
Well, I think this is a perfect tweet. Someone said, it's Tim Young. He's on at SiriusXM. He goes, the people wanting Gina fired for tweeting prove the comparison to Nazi Germany that Gina makes to be 100% correct.
Yeah.
They hate her for her opinion and believe she doesn't deserve a job or to even exist in their society. And, this is no longer about cohabitation. Like, they're not trying to cohabitate with Trump supporters, regular conservatives, moderate Democrats. Like, they want nothing to do with the right wing. And they're willing to go after anybody that had an inclination. And they have a giant registry, Sean, of who liked Trump. About 75 million people.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, shit, dude. I'm telling you, I believe, do you think, because it's so slow, it's so progressive. So you had a couple nut jobs that did some bad shit. Out of the 75 million, out of the 100 some odd to a million people that were there, were the ones that went to the Capitol. They're the ones that were wrong. They're like, dude, they're coming. The DOJ is filled with despots and people who are completely ideologically driven for like racial equity, and it had nothing to do with the sense of law. Like equity has nothing to do with the law.
Well, they're just they're power brokers. They finagle things to keep themselves powerful. It really has nothing to do with it. Like when you're talking about some of the,
these are
talking about
ideological.
Well, you're talking about some of the people in the Department of Justice, or maybe in some of the intelligence communities and stuff.
The lady who made comparisons to Trump, son Barron, at like, you know, just because you named him Barron doesn't actually make him one. Like talking shit about a fucking like 10-year-old kid.
No, I know.
On national she got hired.
Yes.
At the DOJ in the Civil Rights Division. Do you think they're going to protect Trump supporters' political beliefs?
Massive psyop.
No, they're not going to trust them. They don't want to help these people. The ACLU is completely against Trump supporters. The ADL, like, is fucking trash. All of it's trash.
All of these things further illustrate Gina Carano's point with that tweet.
Yes.
You know, it was interesting because, you know, with the article we read, the IGN one, you know, because it quotes that one tweet, right? And then it doesn't quote any of the other accusations it makes, which is weird because it's on fucking Twitter and you could just embed the tweet. Like, where's the anti-masking shit? Like, what did she actually say? I have a feeling it's way more milquetoast than anybody.
She basically was saying, like, you have your individual right to not wear a mask.
Yeah,
I've read into it a little bit.
Yeah, it was like she believed in like liberty. She was talking about liberty and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, like, when you're a person who's like worked really hard your whole life and got the shit beat out of you, and you probably have a sense of like you like earning things. I don't want to say everyone on the left is not, but where are all these woke leftists that talk about empowering women, that are all about giving women, like, she was on the largest TV show on Disney Plus,
and
a prominent role,
largest in the world, one of the biggest in the world,
but like a prominent role. She just didn't have your same ideological perspective.
It's the same thing we were talking about that guy, the Burgess dude, right? Like, it's as soon as you are inconvenient or you say something they don't like, they completely remove that part of your identity because you don't get to use it. You don't get to have that opinion. You don't get to feel that way. And now the fact that you're a woman or you're black or you're Chinese or whatever, like, suddenly it doesn't matter.
Well, what did they say? I think it was the Times or New York Times, one of the major publications, Washington Post, describing people who voted for Trump that were minorities as viewing it as multiracial whiteness.
I know.
You're like, this is beyond.
It's just the modern way of calling somebody an Uncle Tom or whatever. Like, but that's the worst part, because they will take this identity thing. Usually that's used as a shield or a cudgel to protect them from criticism for their opinions, right? A lot of people will use like kind of these immutable characteristics as something to defend themselves in that way. Like, well, I'm a woman, so this is why I can say this, or I'm black, so I can say this. They'll use that, they take it, and they weaponize it against them.
Oh, Gina might go on Tim Pool's podcast.
Fuck yeah, she should, dude. That would be epic.
And then he marries her.
Yeah, she gets him they wrestle after the show.
Yeah, and he like puts oil on his head. He has like a sweatband, just like he's getting ready to go. He's got a skateboard like in his one hand. He low crawls over to her, sliding, slipping. Does a Healy kickflip 360 on her.
He's just
right
naked,
on her, right on her clit.
Naked, covered in baby oil, sliding down the skate ramp.
Yes.
Directly into her vagina.
Yes. That's the image. He's dropping in. Oh yes. Like he goes head first. Like that'd be awesome. Her little Yoda. No, I mean, like, listen, man, it's disappointing. And it's really one of those things that in modern society, it shows the failings and the new church of woke and how powerful it is. And this is what I was saying earlier. Like we were talking about when you were here. Maybe I got the wording wrong, or maybe I was wrong in a sense, not necessarily conservative, but Christian orthodoxy dominated mainstream for the most part.
Well, because I think it dominated,
replaced by a different church.
And I think that's because it was dominated by culture at large, so it was convenient and now we're seeing a shift, you know. I mean, there's more, you know, a lot of times people will talk about like, oh, remember like the religious right in the 80s and 90s, and now look at what the woke side, the other side, is doing now they're just as prude, and they're just as they're just as petty and they're just as like unreasonable and irrational, because it's basically religious dogma just through a secular lens, through this intersectional lens. But the results are the same. Like, they want the same thing. They want censorship. They want everything to be asexual. While on the other hand saying that, but this kind of degenerate behavior is okay. But it's just like heterodox,
they
normal.
can only determine what degeneracy is. Like,
yes,
there's no other. The institution must control every narrative.
Yeah, you should be able to shoot your kid up with fucking.
Oh, with hormones.
With hormones, but like.
And Minecraft.
Yeah, but God forbid somebody have a provocative shot of a woman's ass in a video game.
Oh,
like,
God.
It's like, what the fuck? Their
God.
priorities
And
are so fucked.
These same people probably wanted her fired.
Ooh.
And she's got a dumper on her.
I know, that's what it. Maybe is this what it is, Dan? Is it the war on? Is it the war on thick ass?
It's a bunch of flat ass bitches fucking mad that fucking.
You might be onto something.
I might be, dude. Well, I mean, and Disney destroyed Star Wars. One of the only things that was actually somewhat entertaining was Mandalorian, in my opinion. It was actually that second season. I was like, this is good. This is a pretty good show. It was okay. And the cool thing is, companies, in my opinion, like when I'm watching the Super Bowl and like the Alexa commercial with Michael B. Gordon. Is that his name?
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan. I mean, do I think it's that funny? No. But it has zero sense of... They're not making a political statement. They're just saying that technology is better than your husband or whatever. Using in a sexual, analogy or whatever. And it's fun. It's a fun little joke. Not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be crazy.
And the same joke has been made 1,000 times in the other direction.
And it didn't even bother me. And it didn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, what's your product? What are you trying to say to me right now?
It's just a hack joke. It's the same joke's been made in the other direction 1,000 times as well. Like, it doesn't,
Right, or like the mansplaining thing. I'm like, come on. You know why men have to explain things? Like, honestly, because we just get shit out first. That's it. It's not even mansplaining. We just get shit out. We just say shit. We just do it. Like, yeah, this is what you fucking do. Do you know why this works this way? Don't mansplain to me. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Then don't be so fucking dumb. Get there first. That's all I can say. Because how many times have I been woman-splained in my life? Quite a bit, honestly. You don't know what it's like to be a woman. You don't know what it's like to fucking carry a baby in your stomach, so you can't have fucking a conversation about my reproductive rights. Okay. Like, whatever. Whatever, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just saying, dude, the hypocrisy. Anyway, I think we kind of beat this, like, to a fucking pulp.
Well, what's that, Boomy Leaks guy? You know who Boomy Leaks is, right?
Yeah, Boomy Leaks, yeah.
Twitter, he just wrote something on Twitter. It's probably kind of pertinent. Maybe put a period on this. Hopefully it doesn't open the door back up, because we've kind of covered what he's saying here.
Sure.
A bunch of lunatics invaded the Capitol, and now anything Trump adjacent is considered dangerous and beyond the pale. It won't stop. And this is after... because this is new information. Gina Carano has been dropped by UTA, which is her talent agency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so gross. And do you know what this is? This is what, honestly, last thing for me, you can have the final word on it. I just hope that people rally around her and support her.
The internet will, but I don't know as far as her prospects of getting a job, probably not.
I don't give a shit about, no, but like, dude, Hollywood's dying. Hollywood's dying. I'm not saying that they're dead, but they've lost a lot of, like, authoritative power on, like, what media is. Same thing with the institutions of, like, the news and everything. That's why YouTube is so scary to them. And podcasts, like, they're saying, like, this is where white supremacists can hide now. Podcasts, right? They're just losing power, and they're losing the source code is out there. It's, like, free now. It's open, and they don't like that because they can't control narratives as easily.
Yeah. And I mean... Yeah.
But if she started, like, honestly, she started a podcast, I would watch it, I would listen to it, I would give it a fair shot, because I would want to support someone like her who got screwed out of like her job for honestly nothing. She didn't hurt nobody. She didn't go out and kill someone in a car accident.
She didn't even disparage anybody in particular. It's not like
she
was...
literally said it's just a reflection. This is a reflection that I think I see. You can disagree with me. She wasn't making like defense, but she's not wrong. She's not fucking wrong. She may be. You could. Is it a stretch? Well, I don't know. Tell me in 10 years.
She must have known she was getting. She must have known she was getting booted because earlier today on Twitter, I think she posted like one of those like kind of like.
Anagram things.
Yeah, those meme things that says Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah,
I kind of only looked at it for a second. Let me see. Is that what it said?
Which isn't, dude, like the fact, okay, like, and I think it was kind of borne out in that article, and they were just like, they've been trying to find a way to get rid of her for a couple months, and now they just jumped on this because they're just like, well, people will be hypersensitive.
Yep.
The people will be, well, I think it's known that she was having problems behind the scenes. That was something that was known because of her social media stuff.
But it's
because like some of the other
get back into it?
No, we shouldn't.
You finish.
But some of the other actors, had a problem with the things she was saying as well. So that was where probably a lot of it, a lot of the pressure came from.
I'm sorry. Be a fucking professional. Shut the fuck up. Do your fucking
Well,
job.
honestly, was it Kurt Russell? I think he has kind of the best take on this kind of stuff. He's like, actors just shouldn't talk about this stuff. He's like, you're there to provide people a break.
Okay, so do you think Gina should be fired then? She put herself.
No, I don't think you should be fired. What I'm saying, he was just giving a piece of advice. He's just saying.
So, okay, but if she would have taken his advice, then she would still have a job. Now I have a question.
No, I'm saying if all actors did that, because he says it defeats your job. It defeats your purpose. What you're trying to do is get people to separate you from the characters you play, and you're there to entertain people, give people a break from their fucking regular lives. Like, that's what this is.
I agree. And my only retort to is this. My only retort is they are a minority.
Who is minority?
Gina, Chris Pratt.
No, I know that. No, I understand that.
And I think it's important during times where people feel like their ass is out in the wind. And it's the same thing. Listen, back in the 60s, people spoke out. People spoke out that were on left in the liberal world. Right? They spoke out. They said, this is wrong. And I'm sure people lost jobs because they supported integration. I'm sure people, in like the conservative, racist South, people lost jobs for marching. Right? Like, I'm sure it happened. I guarantee you this is not an insular moment in time. You take that stand. You tell, and like Gina, you should respect it. She took a stand. She stuck by her guns. And this is where I disagree with Kurt Russell in saying, like, you shouldn't keep your mouth shut if you feel like.
No, he's just talking in principle about like the role of an actor. What is an actor's job? What makes them most effective at their job? It is
agreed.
It's a little bit to kind of be a little bit anonymous.
It's like Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know shit about that fucking guy. I don't know fucking nothing.
Exactly, but that's why he's so intriguing as an actor. He gets to envelop a character. Like, you don't have to bring all this baggage with him.
And I agree, and I'm completely okay with that. And
no, I think
that's awesome.
It's not the reality we live in. I'm just saying, in principle.
Well, it's like, I think Ricky Gervais said it best. Come up here, get your fucking little award, and fuck off. Don't give a speech because you guys don't live in the real world. You know nothing about what it is to be the common man.
Yeah,
and that's fair. That's fair. But when Joaquin Phoenix can get up there and talk about fucking climate, Leo can talk about climate change because they're not fucking scientists.
I know.
They're fucking ripping around in fucking private jets. Whatever. I get it. I know. But I'm saying, like, that, it's just so gross that she makes something, a political statement, or something she believes in, she's fired. No, I just think it's bullshit.
I agree with it's bullshit. I'm saying that's like more of a principled argument rather than reality. It's not reality. People are not. That's not ever going to happen. Walter says DDL is an awesome actor. Thanks for following us over here, Walter. I've seen.
Hey, thanks, man.
Appreciate.
Sorry
it.
that we can't live stream.
We can't live stream on There's a video on the Zoobox channel explaining why.
And which you could just post this video there, I guess.
I'm gonna rip this. I'm gonna put I'm gonna re-upload it to our channel.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one of the last things I want to talk about, and I think it'd make an interesting conversation because we can't go a couple days without talking about child pedophilia.
Yeah.
I
got
sent
to
you an
see it.
article.
Yeah, I got it.
And it's fucking creepy, bro. It's fucking weird. And I
So,
wanted to get your opinion on
Yeah,
this.
let's read it. We'll go through it a little bit.
You read
here.
it, go ahead.
So this is from RT.
That's the Russian Times.
Russia Today.
That's how you know it's trustworthy.
Yeah. They got the real. They know what's really going on. German nuns rented orphaned boys to businessmen for gangbangs and orgies. Suppressed reports seen by media. So, a report being withheld from the public documents horrific acts of rape and sexual abuse against young boys that were facilitated by nuns belonging to the Catholic Archdiocese of Cologne in Germany, according to the Daily Beast. The investigation's findings, which concluded last month and stemmed from a lawsuit brought against the Archdiocese by victims, have not been publicly released, but the contents of the report are said to have been leaked to several media outlets. Sections of the 560-page report purportedly seen by the Daily Beast detail how nuns who ran a convent in Speyer, Germany, between the 1960s and 1970s rented orphaned boys to businessmen and clergy who abused the children, sometimes for weeks at a time, before returning them. According to the outlet, some of the orphans were forced to participate in gangbangs and orgies before being returned to the convent, where the nuns would discipline them for having wrinkled their clothes or being covered in semen. Jesus. The report concluded that 175 children, most of them boys between the ages of 8 and 14, were abused over 2 decades. Some of the children were intentionally barred from being adopted or taken into a foster home so the nuns could continue to hire them out, the probe allegedly found. However, the investigation declined to directly blame the nuns involved in the sick scheme, arguing instead that the abuse was the result of systematic management errors and the leniency accorded to those accused of taking part in the abominable crimes, the Beast reported. The details were leaked to the press after the Archdiocese refused to make the report public, demanding that journalists who viewed the documents sign a confidentiality agreement. Isn't that just like the Catholic Church? All those who attended a press conference announcing the conclusion of the investigation reportedly walked out, refusing to abide by the Church's terms. Good for them. Good to see a journalist with a fucking spine. The Archdiocese of Cologne said it had withheld the report because it had failed to fully explain its methodology. However, Bishop Karl-Heinz Wiseman, who leads the Archdiocese, told the media the abuse report was so gory it was not suitable for public viewing. The bishop claims he was so disturbed by the report he had to take a month away from his duties after reading it. The shocking revelations came less than a year after a separate investigation found Berlin's educational authorities and Senate had supported and defended placing foster children into the care of known pedophiles. The 30-year policy, which ended in 2003, led to a number of serious cases of abuse the investigation discovered, which I think we might have briefly touched upon a long time ago, that other case.
Yep.
But yeah, pretty... I wish I could say it was more shocking than I find it.
Yeah, but it's like the one that is at least different to me about as far as the church goes, like they, as far as it alludes to, that there was definitely some knowledge by these nuns.
They always know. Oh, the nuns were the ones that were doing it, and then they blamed like, oh, the systemic mismanagement. Like, what are you talking? How does that happen to 175 boys over a, what, 15,
30 years,
20-year period?
Whatever.
Well, the 30-year thing was the end. Was the
the end of the
the law of what convicted pedophiles could adopt children.
Jesus Christ!
What the fuck is going on over there in Germany?
Dude, Germany's fucked up. They're fucked up. It's not that I'm surprised, but it really makes me like when you listen that documentary.
Touch of Evil.
No. I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about the one with the brothers. The brothers is like fucking on Netflix.
Oh.
The twins or some shit.
Know my name? Do you know my name or something?
Yeah, do you know my name? That's it. I think that's it. And I'm not gonna spoil it too much, but it's some really deep, dark shit going on there. Was this like a common thing? Like,
it seems like this stuff is probably like, but this is kind of what we've talked about before. Like, this shit is very prevalent in the world, and people do not acknowledge it. Like, just the fucking a couple weeks ago, a giant pedo ring got busted in Florida, right? Fucking two people died. 2 officers died.
Oh shit, that's what that was about?
How is that not national fucking story?
Dude, they don't want to fucking talk about it, man.
It was fucking buried.
Why? Because impeachment's more important.
Well, exactly. We're being led around by our fucking short hairs about fucking impeachment. Like, who gives a fuck right now?
Dude, it's like so boring, dude. Because it's not even entertaining. Because before it was like, oh, there's still no fucking way. They didn't know they didn't have the votes, but at least they had like the process.
But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of times, these other stories are. Walter says, "How do you say virgin in German?" Good tight. No, it's like all these stories are almost there to like run interference. I mean, Dan, seriously, if you remember back in the day, the first like the 9/11 episode of Joe Rogan with Alex Jones. You remember that episode when Eddie Bravo comes on halfway through?
Oh, yeah.
They talk about a case that happened in California like a few weeks before he was on. Another, like hundreds of people implicated and arrested. They saved kids from fucking cages. It was not it was only reported on the local news. What the fuck?
And not to mention, Trump actually set up the task force and they disbanded it. Operation Talon.
Telling you, man, some dark shit going on with these powerful people.
There's
a lot of people who got fucking who are compromised. I guarantee you. The Jeffrey Epstein thing is it's like a tip of the iceberg. That's like the top of the operation.
Well, even like, listen, Eric Weinstein, I don't like some of the shit he talks about. Kind of annoying. He annoys me sometimes, but
it's good to listen to people that annoy you, though.
Yeah, it is. But he is at least the most upfront, going like, what the fuck.
Oh, he's pretty much like he's the one that's just like, no, dude, that guy is a controlled asset. Like that dude was not who he said he was.
No, I mean, I don't know. I probably. I mean, obviously, you can't get away with what you did. You can't have the DOJ basically drop the case, and you do some little bullshit thing.
Well, he came at it from the perspective of his personal experience meeting Jeffrey Epstein, and the way Jeffrey Epstein behaved.
Yeah, dinner at it. Yeah, he seemed like he was full of crap or whatever.
Yeah, he seemed like an actor. He kept saying.
God damn, dude. But why? But why are we not more concerned? Like, and that's what I was talking about you this past weekend when you were here. I was like, you don't like get worried about like showing the people like you're on the internet and stuff that are close to you, because like that's what worries me. Like that's how prevalent this is, man.
No, I know.
That's how crazy this is.
I'll be insulted if he doesn't get kidnapped.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? No, I know, and that's why, like, Foster's very even rarely spoken about directly on Zoobox at all.
You just failed. I succeeded.
I
You failed.
No, but like, I don't. It's one of those things you can't like live in that type of like fear about this kind of stuff.
Yes, you can't.
You can't.
Yes, you can.
Dan, it happens all the time. Like there, fucking couple months ago, some girl got literally fucking a fucking panel van drove up and fucking kidnapped her out of her front yard. Like this is like where I live.
You're gonna tell me they didn't like survey the situation?
Oh,
they could have found her on social media.
Yeah.
Could have easily just walked her, like whatever, figured out where she lived.
I don't deny that.
Bing bada boom.
I don't deny that.
But like this is the dangers of living on such a like online life, is the amount, because like listen, you've had experiences when you went against the Johnny Depp people.
No, you're giving people access to your private life. Yeah, you're giving people. I also probably in my naivete like didn't have everything locked down, which I should, just because I do Zoobox. I should have everything locked down to be like the most private it possibly can be. But I didn't at the time, and that was I learned my lesson, But I don't know, and I don't disagree with your broader points though. I do think, yeah, of course, you should definitely be worried about and be careful what your kids are doing or how they're being exposed, because you are inviting people into your private life by having social media. I mean, I'm not the most prolific, social media person. I'm not on Facebook posting all the time. I have people in my family that are, and I talk about that all the time. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like, something innocent to you will be something gratifying for somebody else, and that's like the gross part of people, and that's something that where Mouthy Buddha, like, I mean, I recommend you check out Mouthy Buddha on BitChute.
Yeah, I gotta check out his video.
Yeah, he's got a couple, I think.
Oh, dude,
memory hold on Twitter is a good way to follow him.
Okay.
because Memory Hold is like one of his editors. Like they work together.
Yes.
So Memory Hold, and you can follow. Like he usually tells you when videos drop. And Mouthy Buddha got, I think, banned off of Twitter or left. And I'm telling you, man, like this guy was not out there. You could say he's accusing people, sure, but he's not calling them by name. Like he's using their Instagram names, and like you
is
know,
that true?
well, he has. He got removed off of YouTube for like the Comet guy, the Comet Pizza Shop guy. There was some things, but I'm telling you, like he's not like doing it. At least when he was on YouTube, maybe he is calling certain people out on BitChute, but it's just not. He's putting together things, and he's saying, this person, I cannot prove this, but this is some of these common themes I see connected to these accounts, and this person is like a convicted pedophile. This person uses this language, which is coded language for pedophiles, and you can
No, I know. He's
surmise-
trying to put together like a puzzle, and
Yeah.
some people do have their records are public. Like you can go find out who these people
Well,
are
it's
and
like
what they've done, and
Instagram.
blah blah blah.
If you're on Instagram doing, you know, posting shit, and that gets screenshotted or you have a public profile,
Yeah,
what do you think's gonna happen? Like, how can you? But they removed him from YouTube. I've watched every one of his videos. I would not say any of them are egregious, and they're not without some that you could definitely criticize him, maybe. But it seems like this dude does his research, in my opinion.
no, I mean that's as presented. It definitely feels that way.
It feels that way.
And he's been
Yeah.
around for a long time, so.
But I fact checked him myself. Like I will go.
No,
look.
I don't. It doesn't seem like he's a bad actor in the sense that he's out there purposely spreading
He's not
disinformation.
Eric Dubay. Okay, he's not Eric.
He's not Eric Dubay. No. Isn't Eric Dubay still on YouTube?
Yeah, he found another. There's another channel.
He's got another channel, another
Yeah.
60, 70,000. Yeah, they don't know about him.
Yeah, baby. We're safe. We're safe. But like there's something really weird going on, where every institution of power it seems to be
Conspires.
surrounded by some weird shit with kids.
Yeah, and they all conspire
Like-
to protect pedophiles.
Each other.
It's weird.
Or well, it's the sexual deviancy of power. Power can lead to sexual deviancy. You know what I mean? Like the
That's what they
ability.
say.
to
It's
be
the
more
psychological-
prevalent, deviant.
Psychological phenomenon. If you were to look through the history,
Yeah.
people that especially when it involved children, what we call "quote unquote" deviant behavior, or whatever. I'm specifically talking about pedophilia.
Yeah.
It's always the upper class. It's always the upper crust.
Well, I would
in terms
always
of
say
in terms of where they try to normalize it. Go back to the ancient Greeks. Go back to what the teachers were the ones that got the privilege of taking the boy's virginity. That was an institutionalized thing, and they thought they had a right to it. And that was it. Those were the important people.
Right. And I think, well, I would say any form of sexual deviancy, whether it's animal stuff or some of the really more graphic, disgusting shit that is out there, or what's on the dark web, where they literally can't find these dudes. You can pay them in whatever they want, whatever you want, they'll do, and they cannot catch them. They don't know they have so much access to some sort of systems in place. It's a very I was watching an FBI guy talk about it, these two dudes, and he works in the child porn unit, basically. He tries to catch these. He's got to watch all this horrible
child
shit.
sex trafficking stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, these dudes have to be working with governments. It's impossible what they're able to do.
Yeah, I've heard similar things. They're very sophisticated, as they say.
It's like they literally can't track them. They don't because even on the dark web, they can find ways to leave so if you enter a chat, basically they attach something to your name or whatever, they can attach shit and kind of follow you a little bit. They may not be able to get your IP address or any of that shit, but they are going to be able to now, because people get a little open on the internet.
They'll flag your name and they'll find where else you post.
Right.
Because they're going to go and investigate all of these closed chats and
Right.
stuff. They they agree to the terms of service and actually, in a weird way, incriminate themselves. But
so, like, you have access to the dark web, so do I, right? Most people, if you do a little bit of research, you can gain access.
I've
pretty
never,
easily.
all you need is a Tor thing. I mean, I've
Tor
never
browser.
really.
Neither have
used
I.
it, but I have
never been interested personally. But your layman can access the dark web, for sure. But the access, you're gonna tell me there's not some more secure type of thing that like we just don't know about? Do you know what I mean? Like something that you or I can't get access to. Like there's just no way because we don't have the ability. And I guarantee these things are out there and they're everywhere. Because if you can go on Twitter and find child porn, I guess like if you know how to look for it,
it's everywhere.
It's there.
It's fucking
It's
everywhere. You know
It's
what?
everywhere.
One of the creepiest things that ever came out of those Mouthy Buddha videos. Go check out Mouthy Buddha on BitChute, everybody, and see if you agree. The creepiest stuff was all the stuff that you'd find like these clothing companies, and if you knew the proper tags to search in the in the metadata, you could find weird, creepy pictures of kids that were not searchable on the regular site. You have to know the backdoor.
There was one of them that was like, "Good job USA" or some bullshit.
Well,
like
yeah,
some weird
the whole thing. But what I'm just saying is they're hidden on these public sites.
And it's usually you have to go to like DuckDuckGo.
It's in the metadata of the site. It's where they built the site. It's on that level where
it's
those
like
pictures
in the
are.
coding. It's like in the code.
So
or
if you
whatever,
know the secret tags to get find the pages,
it brings you to graphic content.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is where, like, that's just one system. Like, it's just one way. And it's probably so much worse than what we could even imagine. And where these people, like the Podesta, supposedly, I'm not making accusations, but like the brother, like in the art in his house, like you could argue, like that Satanist lady that's like good friends with Lady Gaga, and they eat the cake that looks like a human body sacrifice, and like this is what they do in public, dude.
Yeah,
it's public. That's like public creepy shit, though. It's like weird, and they can say, "Oh, well, it's artistic expression. It's they're eating the dead like to like bring new life into the new year, some paganism crap." And you could be like, okay, fine. But it's like, that's what they do in front of everybody. And it just goes, you got your hardcore crazy people. Like, I imagine there has to be crazy people out there that believe in this shit. There just and I'm like talking about true Satanism shit.
No, they do believe it. Yeah, they believe in it for sure.
No, I mean, believe, partake, all of the above.
They do.
Like, and they are people that are powerful in our society. Like, there's no doubt to me that
because
these people are everywhere.
It's like ritual. It's just like something that people have just passed down. That's why all these people are fucking related to each other.
Or like, look at the Queen of England and everything. All these fucking, like, you know what I'm talking about? You were talking about how like the elites in society, like Rome or whatever, they could do what their thing. Like, go watch. I think it might be Mouthy Buddha. No, Sean Atwood. Like, they get into it, dude. They look at all. What?
Sean Atwood is a little.
No, he has spicy people on. It doesn't mean necessarily.
Well, he like openly entertains every crazy fucking thing that.
Absolutely, but that's what you do as a good interviewer. You shouldn't be. You should be unbiased and you should entertain, right?
Sure.
It's a way. But there is definitely people you've had on that is like proven they were molested, proven they were a part of certain things, and like when he breaks down, Seville, that's a famous one, right? Jerry, whatever his name is, the entertainer guy.
Yeah, the guy that was the children's entertainer.
Yeah, like fucking raping kids for decades.
Yeah.
And he was friends with the Queen and all these people.
He was a knight. He got knighted. Jimmy Savile.
Savile. Like all these guys, and there was people that were like, who was the Iron Lady? Meryl Streep plays her.
Margaret Thatcher. Her top people were like, arrested and or investigated. Look at the Prince with Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew. Like, I'm telling you, there's some fucking funky shit. Like, it doesn't even take a genius.
You get Jeffrey Epstein gets arrested when Trump comes in. Like, think about that. Like, he does.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
no. So you're gonna tell me that that's not weird?
that it's not weird. It could have just been timing. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate that Trump was some secret
Sean, he got
pedo
arrested.
hunter.
Like what? It's not about being a pedo hunter. I'm not saying that, but he knew who Jeffrey Epstein was.
Yeah, he commented.
Knew who he was.
He commented on in the past.
Right, but he knew who he was. He bought him from Mar-a-Lago. It's a true story.
I know that. No, I know.
So it's like you become president, you know a guy's kind of weird, and then you find out that he was fucking let off, like with some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Possibly,
like,
sure.
Like I mean, come on, you know he's the president. You got to if you're the president and you can't get a guy arrested that has done some shady shit, like what's the point of you in your job? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. It's just go too deep, dude. It's too deep. It's too deep, and it's too crazy to think. It's too crazy to think about because if you believe it, like it seems too. What's the word I'm thinking? Like fantastic.
What?
But then again, like it's fantastic. Like it's
yeah, it's fantastical. It's
fantastical.
Yeah.
But then again, if I told you a couple of years ago that Jeffrey Epstein was taking kids to an island, probably sexually assaulting them, raping them, and probably giving them the power for people, you'd probably say I'm crazy. Probably be like, you know, whatever.
I don't
you know,
know.
seriously. No, think about it though.
No, I know, but like, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember. You know, it's crazy because like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff has been so downplayed in memory hold. Like, I'm trying to think. I'm like, why did he get arrested again?
He got arrested because the particular person that's a whatever federal level guy charging him, they dropped the charges. Alan Dershowitz was his lawyer.
No, I'm talking about the last
they
time.
let down.
No, I'm talking about the last. I'm not talking about the 2011.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
They rearrested him because what they did they couldn't do. What the people who gave him a break, they could not legally do that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was basically like, yeah, you can't fucking just get rid of that. You can't just make that go away.
It wasn't like a Me Too thing that somebody came forward and then because they had changed the laws in New York City or New York State.
You know what? That is actually, I think, accurate too.
About rape allegations, because it was that girl, the one that you see all the pictures of, the one that like massaging Bill Clinton and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was her, if I'm not mistaken, because she's the one, also one of the main witnesses in the what's her name? Giselle.
Yes.
Ghislaine, rather. Sorry, not Giselle. Sorry. Beautiful Giselle Bündchen. Ghislaine. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, all these motherfuckers are out there. Like you're gonna tell me Google can't stop this shit somehow?
Oh, I don't know.
How can we not give them? What do you mean so many? Sean?
No, I'm just saying there's so many people.
Shut the internet down.
Just shut it down. It was a mistake.
We don't need this shit anymore.
It was a mistake.
But then again, it's like obviously the internet is great because people could be, found and helped.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go back to the old days where the kids were just trafficked at nunneries. I mean, the good old days.
Yeah, we had records back then. Records, damn it.
Records.
No, but how can this not be a more proactive part of like Google's policy? How can this not be like the number one thing they should be caring about? Number one should not be.
It should definitely be in the top five.
Should not be conspiracy theorists.
I'd say it would have to go like terrorism, which this is the problem with these things because they're like, well, because obviously people being able to like coordinate terrorist activity.
Is terrorism really our problem, Sean? Have you just been spoon-fed that since you were, a kid?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Would it be more prevalent if people were more freely able to do it? I don't know.
What would be more? You talking about domestic terrorism?
Domestic, foreign, whatever. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Well, terrorism is going to be terrorism, bro.
Terrorist gonna terrorist. It's a fact.
I mean, honestly.
You ever heard of 9/11?
I'm not saying that but what the fuck did they do to stop terrorists, Sean? Twitter had Al Qaeda on there and ISIS. What are they doing to stop terrorism?
They did eventually. Get rid of
of course they did. Yeah, well, they still have fucking whatever. That guy is fucking the leader of Iran on there, but.
Is he on there? He's still on there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What have they done to stop terrorism? Honestly, These people haven't done
I don't know. You were just saying what on the list of priorities. I was
do you know how they stop terrorism? By Bank of America literally giving away their fucking people's information to the FBI without a warrant. Just here you go.
I know.
That's how.
I wonder
that's
if
how these companies stop terrorism.
Is there going to be like a class action lawsuit against Bank of America?
Probably. But it doesn't matter. They'll get they'll pay out $10 million and my bad. Don't worry. We just completely fucked you over when you didn't do anything illegal. And what bank would give up your private information without a subpoena? Like it should be private protected information, Fourth Amendment. So it's just come on, man. This is what happens. How much money is being put in these bank accounts in Bank of America? All about fucking kids. Probably a lot. It's dude, I think Elijah said the sex trafficking alone of children is $150 billion a year.
Yeah.
That's a fucking.
That's why maybe that's why it's so prevalent.
What do you mean?
Because it makes so much money. It's a little weird giant industry that nobody is allowed to talk about. That runs in the shadows of our world.
I don't know, man.
Or actually not even so much in the shadows, just you gotta know what you're looking at sometimes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what makes Mouthy Buddha to me interesting.
Because you
can
the pieces
replicate it
together.
Well, he shows you how to replicate it. He literally shows you.
Well, yeah,
you can go replicate this yourself.
Yeah, he's showing you kind of what you should look for and what are kind of red flags. I mean, these are things I think if you've, for lack of a better way to put it, been involved in conspiracy world for a while on the internet, this is the kind of things that you're gonna recognize because that's the weird thing about a lot of conspiracy stuff. Usually there's truth in there. Sometimes it gets taken over by ridiculous shit and then it spirals out of control and becomes about something that it's not anymore. But there's usually a foundation of this is worth looking into, that we should be asking these questions. And then whether through PSYOP or through whatever, it always gets undermined by some crazy shit.
Well, or a granular thing that's
we've
wrong.
talked about this before.
That's very small.
We've talked about this before. The fact that Pizzagate became about an actual pizza place all of a sudden, overnight. It's not how that started. That was not what that was about. It wasn't until the last little bit of it that it was about that specifically. Honestly, you want to blame Alex Jones for something, it's for fucking running with that stupid pizza parlor shit.
I mean,
because they had so many videos about that.
What happens if that shit was real?
No, I understand that, but what ends up happening? It's like the Capitol event. It's like January 6th. Now what happens? Now it's going to be used to discredit every fucking thing those people ever talked about. Well, now all those people are crazy crackpots. So anything that has to do with what happened during the election in 2020, now you're not allowed to discuss it. You're not allowed to talk about it. If you do, you're fucking, what are you, a terrorist?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And this always happens. It always happens. And when it's almost like when a grassroots thing starts taking hold, Wall Street Bet's another thing, right? A grassroots movement starts taking hold. The public is on their side. There's a lot of public support. Suddenly, something steps in to undermine it and fuck it all up. And you gotta wonder sometimes, I'm not trying to be too conspiratorial. I'm just saying it gotta make you think.
But it's not conspiratorial. We know there are people in positions of power that abuse it. That's it.
Well, I think
there is no conspiring between people. Hey, have you ever seen a guy you complain about cops that abuse their power?
Sure.
That fucking cover for bad cops. But now you got a politician that knows the guy's a fucking pedophile and helped him get off his record. Well, helped him to get out of the situation.
Yeah, and anytime there's public exposure of these things, and people convene on message boards or whatever, there's always something that gets introduced that poisons the entire thing. And it happens.
That could just be.
It happens all the time, dude.
Yeah, but that's just crazy. Normal. That's just natural. I think it's some of it's artificial because it undermines the public's ability.
That's why I said I'm being conspiratorial. I think that it undermines people's notions and thoughts about coming together about anything, because It gets deflated or it gets derailed always by something weird.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the pizza shop thing with Mouthy Buddha gets into it. It's not entirely crazy.
No,
There are people that are involved with that pizza shop.
Yes.
Say some pretty weird shit.
No, I'm talking specifically about the concept that there was like a dungeon of children underneath the pizza parlor. That's what I'm talking about.
There might have been.
I know, but
We don't know.
where did that come from? Is what I'm saying. How did that become the story? They were looking at all of these emails, finding coded language about politicians possibly ordering children or molesting kids and shit.
Possibly.
Allegedly, possibly, right? And then it becomes about more of a fantastical notion, and you got to wonder where that stuff came from. I'm just saying. I don't know the answer to that.
You have Hunter Biden fucking walking around with his fucking
same thing with
10-year-old.
But that's the same thing with the cat. That's why I made the comparison to the Capitol stuff. You have a bunch of people that feel a certain way, and then there's a poisonous element somehow gets involved, somehow injects itself into these populist movements that undermines the entire thing. And now now everybody is painted with the actions of a few people.
Do you think Antifa was created by the FBI?
I think they're probably supported but not created.
No, okay. Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
It is absolutely, because you have people that are on the left wing socialists that don't believe in violence, that don't believe in this horrible shit. But what happened is Antifa, like wherever they got started with a few people, probably bitching online, and they get together and they're like, "Hey, let's form a fucking thing."
Well,
then it gets popular, and then it goes on and on and on.
Well, the concept of Antifa's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm talking about
what I'm saying is you don't think that it's possible that like our intelligence communities is propping up Antifa and encouraging violence to make it to do the same thing you just said, right? To demonize an entire wing of thought about people that wouldn't normally be that way.
Listen to me. I'm not saying that they wouldn't. Okay? What I'm saying is, like, do you think that they are involved in every level?
No.
Of every, you know what I mean? Like, this is the point. It's like,
I don't think you have to be.
Of course. Oh, like Cenk Uygur. Of course. Of course, they're involved in certain aspects of psychological operations. You know, like I think that they play a role in the QAnon conspiracy theory. They probably played some sort of role.
They're like basically, Dan, they're like out there creating Manchurian candidates that they activate. Like, it's fucking weird.
I mean, they might be.
Because they're getting unstable people. All of these people that get arrested for this shit, what's like the common factor? They're all like fucking autistic. They're all like mongoloids. They're all fucking sick people.
Yeah, like Antifa.
Same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
Right.
The targets are the same. The fucking methodology is the same.
I agree. I mean, you could even look at the Charles Manson thing. You know, they all look like fucking, mongoloids. They all look fucking weird. They're all fucked up. Or what you're seeing is just people who are fucked up, Sean. I know. You could literally just be seeing there is a common thread here, okay? Like, a common thread is that they're fucking crazy.
No, that there's mental illness involved, right?
Right.
I understand
that. You take a person with mental illness and they read something on 4chan or Reddit that says, "Hey, I think that there's a sex dungeon in there."
Sure.
And the dude has some like obsessiveness about it, and he starts building and fabricating all his shit in his head, and he decides to go down there with a weapon and tries to save the kids.
You don't think that there's potential that some of these people are like groomed?
I will 100% give you potential. No doubt in my fucking mind.
Sure, that's all I'm saying.
But like the resources it would take to do that kind of operation.
I don't think it takes as many as you think. Like, I think it's like, what do you need? Like a few hundred people involved with something?
That's
and
a
half
lot
of it.
people.
And half of it, Dan, is just being on a message board when they're in their cubicle during the day.
How large is the FBI? Do you think? How large do you think it is, dude? Like,
I don't know. It's probably like 50,000 people.
I would be shocked.
People?
I would be shocked.
So we'll see if we can find it.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it's that many. I would probably say 10,000, 5,000, 10,000. That to me seems reasonable. I could be wrong.
Okay, so this is 2020 numbers.
Sure.
Okay, 37,254.
Okay, so those are special agents.
Special agents and intelligence analysts.
Okay, cool. So intelligence special agents. Out of those people, how many people are actually working stuff, dude? less than 5%. Okay, like most of those are going to be accountants.
Oh, maybe you
are
don't
gonna
know,
be-
Dan.
No, I'm telling
Maybe
you
you
because
don't
I've worked around these people. Like
Dude,
I
you
understand.
ain't secret squirrel enough
I
to
ain't
be
sick-
down
I
in the
ain't sick-
Pizzagate.
I know there's shady shit.
I'm
What I'm
just
saying
joking.
is like you're probably talking about for a team to monitor something like 4chan and get in these QAnon. Absolutely, you could have a couple dudes dedicated to looking and stuff.
I think it's
and
you
betting and
but you don't
baiting people?
think just in the culture that we live in that the cybersecurity aspect of the FBI CIA is not like a huge part of what they do?
It is.
Yeah.
But listen, I think it's in a way like listen, they're not the ones, in my opinion. This is my opinion. It's the media. Like they're the real threat. They are the ones that are your average FBI guy, okay? Not Strzok, not so-and-so, Comey, or the head guys. Like, they don't know what the fuck's going on. Whatever. Like, they just fucking do their thing. They're political games. They fucking probably make backdoor deals. They do shady shit. No doubt. But, like, your average fucking FBI agent. Hey, man, go into this fucking 4chan where we got guys talking about QAnon and monitor for illegal activity.
Sure.
That's what they'll do. And like, hey, strike up conversations with these people. Try to get information. Try to see if they're planning. That's basic cop shit. Like, that's what you would do, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's like, do they have whole teams dedicated? I'm talking
Yeah,
like 100 people? Probably not.
Well, let me ask you a question. So do you believe that on like higher echelons of government, we're talking like our senators or governors, like Democrats and stuff like that, do they not use like kind of psychological tactics on a population to get them to like come to their side, their ideological persuasion?
Yes, they do. But
Like,
it's
I mean,
also
that's what we were talking about
hold
with
on.
all the Trump stuff for 4 years about the
John, hold
demonization and Gina Carano, what
Yes,
she said,
but
right?
Who gave that power? The media.
Yeah,
The
media.
mainstream media is the real tool
Yes, and there's-
of the deep state.
I'm not
That is the real tool.
I would not suggest otherwise.
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't
what they
suggest
do
otherwise.
is they pay these people fuck tons of money to sit there and read from a teleprompter that is owned by 2 or 3 major fucking multimedia corporations, AT&T, fucking the other ones.
Yeah, and they coordinate
ABC.
with campaigns. They coordinate with intelligence agencies. There's all sorts of crazy shit going on behind
Right.
the scenes there.
Right, absolutely they do. And to me though, it's not as like crazy as you think. Okay?
I don't.
Hold on, give me a chance. Like, I'm telling you what happens. James Comey calls the head of AT&T. Listen, we guys need you to put this particular message out.
Yeah,
because of
100%.
this." Like, that's how it is. Our senators and these people, like, they don't know what the fuck's going on, Sean. Listen to these. You've listened to these people talk. They're not like really game planning.
No, but they have fucking handlers. They're like literally told what to fucking do.
Yes.
And that's
yeah,
all. I'm
that's
suggesting
big
that.
corporations.
I'm-
That's big.
I know.
Corps, then.
So you're seeing
That's-
a broad view of that, but I would bet money
I'm not saying there is. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying it wouldn't be that large
that
of a group of people.
our intelligence.
but
No, it wouldn't be that large. I don't think it would be. I don't think it needs to be.
I don't know. It just depends on what you're talking. Now you're talking about going and messing in a chat room, creating a huge psychological operation to trick something. Alex Jones could be a part of the CIA then.
He totally could be 100%. Actually, a lot of people say he is.
He might be. I don't know.
He's a Mossad
Or-
agent, actually.
Or he's a cultural phenomenon that just some guy that rose to the top, you know, and that he took advantage of like certain stereotypes or certain lines that people weren't taking at the time, and it became popular because of it. It's like, is Joe Rogan out there intentionally trying to misinform people?
Yes.
I don't know. You know, like
100%.
maybe, or
Oh,
maybe
dude,
he's just a guy that does a podcast.
He's CIA compromised.
He might
Eddie
be.
Bravo knew. Eddie Bravo knew and confronted him. And
It's actually maybe I don't know where Eddie is, dude. I haven't seen Eddie in a long.
exactly, Dan.
time.
Exactly.
He's gone. He's gone.
She's too much. She's too much for the Joe Rogan experience. Now it's more of like the Joe Rogan hangout experience. What? I don't experience shit anymore.
Yeah.
Just joking.
I don't know. I just think the movie Hollywood shit that is also a part of the propaganda machine
It
to
is.
make you feel like the FBI is more powerful than what it really is.
If you understand like group psychology and how those things work, that's why I don't think it requires a lot of people. I think it's pretty easy to get people that are already primed to be violent, say. to start. That's why, agent provocateurs would take like 2 or 3 people, they go fucking throw a Molotov cocktail into a building, and then suddenly everybody's like, whoa, it's fucking on. Like, that's how people operate. And they operate the same way in chat rooms.
Yeah, and there's definitely no doubt. There's no doubt.
I'm just saying, some of these people glow in the dark, and I'm fucking ready. I've been attacked by Abraham today.
That's true.
Probably a CIA asset. A lot of people don't know this. Dubbox, #1 podcast for people in the intelligence community. They love this show.
Yes, they do. They do, because we speak truth here, and they just like to hear it every now and then. But like, I don't know. Like, you got like, it's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street shit. There is a fucking guy looking into it. Had a team maybe of a couple dudes looking into this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not trying to go in and necessarily influence shit. They're just like watching. They're like, this is weird.
I think
this is going to take years to build shit. Like, so I'm going to do this. There's fraud. There's murders.
Those are the people that are tasked with stopping it from happening.
Right. But it takes time. Like,
well, Dan, like you said yourself, these people, they're like, how can we not catch these fucking dudes? Something's going on.
Well, I think it comes down to is like the reason. I do listen. The NSA is probably more dangerous than the FBI or anything like that.
Thank you. Yes, I agree.
But they don't. As far as like things that have been released, okay, things that have been released. Just by way, Snowden exposed. They never, and he was one of the architects of these programs. At least is what he exposed. They do not try to fabricate reality from the NSA. It's a complete surveillance. That's what it's all about. The fabrication of reality is coming from the wealthy people, and it's not even intelligence assets. It's just wealthy people that like things the way that they are. Disney wants to keep making money. So are they in bed with the Chinese government? Like, do you think there's like a Chinese spy like tinkering behind the stage and like being like, no.
I bet you there are people that work for Disney that are Chinese spies.
No,
yes.
Literally go like this. You want a Disney World open it here in China? Well, you got to take John Boyega out of the fucking poster, and you got to film certain shit here. That is it. It's business. It's money. Like, that's where I disagree about like all the conspiracy theory stuff. It's fun to think about, but it's usually just bad people getting together and like, or just saying, we don't really give a shit about the Uyghurs. We're just going to make money.
Disney Corporation is infested with Chinese spies. Chinese money.
They might be.
Paramount as well. This all started because of fucking Michael Bay making his goddamn Transformers movies over in China. The Chinese government literally had to come in and oversee the production when they were in China.
I think Cyberpunk 2077 is more or less going to be a realistic future.
Probably, yeah.
Like, as far as corporations run this country, and they always have.
Yes, they always have. Yeah.
So it's just until those things become maybe we should just ban corporations. You can't make more than, I don't know, like
like
$500 million. Just
am I talking to Vosh over here?
No, well, honestly though, you should ban. What they should do is completely ban, make people poor in government. Well, you're not allowed to have over a certain amount of wealth working for the government.
I don't know, or you cannot use your position as leverage to get those things, because that's clearly what happens almost 100% of the time.
You can't make any income outside of your government salary.
Yeah, but then what if you're married, and what if your husband is an investor?
Nope. You got to divorce him.
No,
like honestly, like no. If you want to serve the people of America, you should not be able to be wealthy. I think it's like because there's too much conflicting shit. And like I think they should just do like a rotation system. Sean, you got to go be a senator for the next 3 months.
Well, that I could get down with. Like if we had more of a public lottery about some of these things. And not everybody gets to be in the public lottery. Maybe you gotta have some sort of background in something.
No.
Dude, you want?
Nope.
Who do you want? Dude, you're asking for a can of worms, man. What if these Gina Carano haters? What if they got in control for 2 years?
Yeah, but like it would just be based off of political affiliation and like what party you and you select your party when you go in.
Can't do that.
Or you just don't even have a political affiliation. You just get rid of it entirely, and just go based off randomization. I don't know, and you just do it for a few months, and you have to. You just
wouldn't get anything done if it was only a couple months.
Why?
It's hard to get legislation written and passed.
Why is it hard, Sean? Why is it hard?
Because,
who made it hard?
What do you mean?
Who made it hard? Sean, do you know
It's a
that when-
process. Like, you can't just by
Sean.
fiat do whatever the fuck
Wait.
you want, dude.
that is not fucking true. It's 100% not true.
What's not true?
Who says, Sean? Who says that legislation? They put whatever the fuck they want in there, dude.
No, I totally agree. But oftentimes it takes a long time for those things to be written and produced.
No. Why?
Because there is some due diligence in terms of law and whatnot.
No. No, Sean. No.
Like a legal document. You
don't
want to
have-
be Jeffrey
Sean,
Epstein
they
getting
don't
arrested
have
10
to
years
follow
later?
The law. You realize that, right?
I do, yeah.
They are lawmakers. That's it.
Yeah, they're lawmakers, but they're still like technically bound by the confines of the existing
Of
laws,
what?
Dan.
What?
It's supposed to be finding a balance
Like
between those
Obamacare
things.
that can force you to pay a fucking fine?
Listen, you're not going to find an enemy
No.
here, man. I agree with you.
No,
They do whatever the
You're-
fuck
but
they want.
I'm just saying you're fundamentally wrong. They do not have to follow the law. They make the law.
That's not
There
true.
is. What law do they have to follow?
on the books, Dan. Like that. What do you think creating legislation is?
Sean. Legislation is based off of what?
Based off of what? The needs of a society, whatever they're trying to
Sure.
accomplish. Yeah, they have to go check and balance all that stuff within
Sean.
existing rule sets.
No,
do
they don't.
Do they not do that sometimes, Dan?
No.
Yeah, they do because they don't really care.
It's called precedent. They have to use precedent sometimes.
What is precedent?
But precedent is like previous law, right? But hold
Okay,
on.
that's
No.
what I said.
Tell me the precedent for making people pay for health insurance
I
and then fining them.
Dan, I've said this like 5 times, dude. I don't disagree with you. I think
No, but-
I think that they are, but when I'm talking about, like, we were just talking about this crazy hypothetical of people coming in and out of office by lottery.
No, I hear you, but ignore that for a second. I'm just talking about the process of making law.
Yeah, but
They don't. Hold on. If they make a law that bans all weapons in the United States
yeah.
and it passes, it's now a fucking law.
Yep.
That law will be put into effect immediately.
If
There
it-
is,
I mean-
and then it can go to the Supreme Court, and they can argue it, which it probably would, obviously.
Yeah.
That'll take a little while, no doubt. But dude, they can make any fucking law they want. Just like as South Carolina says, you have to wear a fucking bicycle helmet to drive your car. You have to. You have to wear
listen. I don't disagree with you, Dan.
No, I know. So like the concept.
Yeah, but
the
we
co-
started
I know,
talking
but
about
let me
this.
explain. I understand that, but let me explain my furthering point. Why are the laws so long and complicated?
Because there's a lot of them.
No,
And they stack on each other.
no, not necessarily that. So when the founding fathers and the Federalist Papers, they actually set rules and guidances on how long laws could be written,
Sure.
and how long bills should be. They were supposed to be, I think, no more than 10 pages.
Yeah, because you got to be able to read the fucking thing. Yeah.
Exactly. That was taken out in like the 1820s.
I know it, and now they're
1840s.
like 5,000 page.
Right.
things.
Or,
I
or
know.
what was the coronavirus? Wasn't it like 25,000? It was something crazy
They
like that.
literally rolled it in in a fucking
Yeah.
red flyer wagon,
But this
like
is
a
the thing.
joke, like they're laughing at you.
Dude, it's insane. It's literally insane. So what I'm saying is, you get a group of 100 people, senator, get whatever the number is up in at the, representative level, and those people come together who are not lawyers, who are not judicial experts.
Well, a lot
You
of
still
them
have the
are
judges,
lawyers.
and you still have all this stuff, and they get there and they go, everything would have to be used in simple terms and basic language. What we've created through the use of education is a barrier for normal people. So like,
Well, that's what it used to be.
that-
Now the internet was the great thing about the internet. It's supposed to democratize those things, but yeah.
So do you think a lawyer? So technically, to pass the bar exam, you don't have to go to law school. You just have to pass the bar exam for
Is
most
it-
states.
I don't know. Yeah,
No, that's a fact. Yeah,
Okay.
like people in prison, it happens all the time.
makes sense. If
They
you can
study
pass the
and they-
test,
Yeah, they pass the bar exam and they, do their practice, whatever courtroom stuff. You can do that. Plenty of people have done it. It's actually not impossible. Kim Kardashian was studying for the bar exam. It was like a story from a few years ago. As long as you pass the bar exam, you can be a lawyer. So that might not be every state. But why is it so difficult to read law? And they make that, and that was very specific so that a layman cannot just go say, basically like what you're afraid of. You can go read Article 107, whatever it's called, and you're like, listen, this clearly says that I fall under transformative content. This is like, guys should be good. But now they sue you, and you have to go to court, and you go in and represent yourself. But just because you don't sound fancy, and you don't use the proper decorum and words, and the judge will be like, I don't like them, and then you're fucked.
No, you're right. I mean, because there's a professional decorum, there's a professional way of talking when you're presenting cases and stuff like that.
Sure.
Just like there is in any field, honestly. I mean, like you could talk to an electrician and they could dumb it down for you, but electricians are going to talk to each other in a more
It hurts and
in a more complicated manner.
But that's the thing is like, if you get a bunch of laymen, because like important job, the government is not that important. I think we just put it way at too high as a pedestal. It's not that important.
Well, that's been the project of the government, is to try to become more important, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
So if you get a bunch of, like, let's say average Joes who aren't there to manipulate, to do anything, and they make like regular money, and you keep businesses out of the government, like that's the biggest issue. Lobbying and corporatists, elitists, and no term limits and whatever. But then you just cut it all out. Okay, you go serve for a year. You'll do it probably, or you do it like for 3 months, or you do a senator for a year and you do representative for 6 months. I don't know. But
I mean, I
make
would
it like jury duty.
I would say it would, to me, it would have to be like 2 years at a time.
I mean, you could. Why?
Because I do think like some of it is like, if you want to get your way, you got an idea, like you're gonna have to have allies, you're gonna have to like build the relationships, etc.
Yeah, but Sean, but that's the best part. There would be no reason to.
There would be no laws, dude.
No, but there would be laws
Just
made by the people, for the people. And it wouldn't be complicated. Like, why would I want a guy who can sit in office for 2 years and do nothing? But you get in there, it's your one opportunity, probably in your life, to have an effect on your community and your country. Yeah. So that like the poor Southern guy can get a voice, and then the rich corporate guy can get a voice, and everybody's got a voice. Everyone's equal.
See, I understand that your vision of a poor person is probably a lot like me, but listen, that's not true. None of them are as awesome as me.
Yes.
You can't trust these poors.
Yeah, but
as far as you can throw them. I mean, do you remember you go to that Walmart near your house?
I've been there a few times.
You want those people running this government?
No, but the thing is, it wouldn't be a majority though, right? So you got one guy that's from like Birmingham, one guy from wherever, and from here, and it's like everyone gets a fair shot, dude. You know, as long as you're like, at least at like some standard of high school graduation, maybe, you're a high school graduate.
Nope.
And you're a taxpayer. Like, there you go. You know what I mean? Like,
or should there be actually, you know what? There should be an age thing though. You got to be like 40.
I don't know.
I know we disagree on this. There's an episode. There's actually,
I don't believe it.
If anybody wants to know this debate, so we don't have to have it again, there's an old episode of Zoobox called Dawn of the Baby Presidents, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just believe if you can die for your country, you should be able to fucking serve your country in a different fashion.
Sure.
That's just my thing. Like, if they can send you to war, you should have a voice in that process.
It's called voting. That's what they would say, right?
Yeah, that is what they would say, right? Cool. Yeah. Now they're gonna give it to 16-year-olds. No, you should be able to serve your community at the highest level.
Dude's like, did you see what happened in this past election? I ain't saying nothing.
Well, it's like age is just fucking not important anymore. Maybe beyond a certain point, it isn't. I don't think. You get past like, okay, we could maybe say 18, 25 or whatever. You should be able to run for president.
Well, like, how old am I? 34? I think that's a good age.
No, but 25. Like 25 would be a reasonable age to be able to go take on things and to go do things, or to take on roles in your government. And people probably wouldn't vote for you because of your age. But if you hear an eloquent, smart, well thought out person, you might be like, hey, but my whole thing is you still vote for presidency, and you still vote for, you still vote for your presidency, you still vote for your mayors, but Congress should be an equal balance between the federal government and the state government, and that would equal power out a lot, and it would make legislatures a lot more careful about what they do. Because if you know, like, oh shit, these guys are gonna go in, they're gonna be pissed, they're gonna change law because they don't like how I ran my shit. Like, it would be out in the open. People would just have to pay attention a lot more, I would. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Someday.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. I guess, but
I mean, maybe it will.
200 years from now,
Maybe it won't matter.
it's gonna be Tim Pool's great grandson will be the first senator elected by lottery. Him and Gina Carano are gonna start the pool party, as we've discussed.
Yes. I don't know, man. I just fucking pedophiles are bad. Kill them.
You heard it here.
Minecraft.
Again, we take our very controversial.
Go check out Mouthy Buddha, dude. Go check out Mouthy Buddha on BitChute.
We take our very controversial, very hot take. Listen, fucking kids is no good. And you shouldn't do it. It's bad. It's bad.
Definitely bad.
You're ruining an entire generations of people by doing stuff like that. And we don't agree with it here. We don't allow it. We don't stand for it.
Absolutely.
Only at places like Zoobox you gotta find this kind of integrity.
I mean, I gotta go cancel Disney Plus, dude.
Might have to, actually.
I mean, it's kind of just so. I'm just so disgusted. I'm disgusted that people can't have personal views, and it's not like she's out there using like racial
She
slurs.
didn't even say anything that fucking crazy.
Let me tell you something. Disney is probably run by a bunch of people that are prescribed to a certain culture.
Chinese spies, Dan?
Yes, exactly.
Chinese spies, Dan.
Well, it's like, okay, let's say like you say something like, if my boss was a Jewish person and I said those same words and he fired me, he has the right to fire me.
What would I say? I would say the same thing I said. I'd be like, it's bullshit. And obviously,
Well,
this
yeah,
guy's too
bullshit.
fucking stupid to understand the point you were making. I guess.
And also,
bad on them.
Hey, that's life, and it sucks.
Like what?
And people should use their voice and band together and use their collective
it's
power,
it's
right?
like this Orwellian bullshit, dude, where somebody's like, "Oh, this actually means this," even though this is not what it says, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is anti-Semitic. Why is that?"
Like, I love it. Like, Anomaly, I don't agree with everything he says. At Legendary Energy on Twitter, but he goes, when you do social or political activism that goes against the system, you get canned. The woke activist celebrities that media promotes are actually doing activism. They're puppets and jesters for the elites. It's the truth. It's perfect. It's perfect.
They really are.
It's perfect way to say it.
I mean, yeah. They're just
like, I don't think there's any other way to say it. Like, yeah, you can be a political activist if you're on the right side. Done.
Yes. I mean, it's always kind of been like that, unfortunately, at least in our lifetime.
But see, but then again, it's not true,
In our lifetime?
I mean, I would say generationally, like if we talk about like, NWA and their violent rhetoric towards police officers that was found to be protected under the First Amendment.
Well, but they had institutional support, like MTV, like popular culture supported their right to do those things.
But those were minor at the time. Those weren't they were big. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they were big, but the power they wielded probably wasn't as
but you can go back to
much as generational. Like Johnny Carson was not out there, or whoever fucked it at the time was not out there supporting that. That's what I'm saying. Like if you take the Twitter, like people like Tim Pool are like the MTV of today. You know what I mean? Like that is the sphere of like rebel, outside the sphere of like what is okay. You know what I mean? Like it's the parents weren't kids, it was the kids. Younger people are pushing more towards alternative media sources is my point. Like they're not really caring what CNN and MSNBC says.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying in our lifetime it's always been easier to be like, say, openly liberal or progressive or whatever than it has ever been like at least since the 70s or 80s, to be like a conservative, outspoken conservative, hardline conservative person.
Tell it to Clint Eastwood.
Probably. Yeah, but Clint Eastwood's like, you can't, that's an exception to the rule. And he's doesn't actually go out and talk much about it. He is that.
Have you seen his fucking movies, Sean? He mansplains the entire time in $1 Million Baby. Have you seen that fucking movie?
I have seen it. It's a great movie. but he's just not like even though he was mayor of a small town in California, like he's not very politically active. Like if he's asked about it, I think he's honest. But I don't think he's not out there like the most famous thing is the stupid thing where he talks to the empty chair.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, he's talking to Obama, I think. He's pretending to talk to Obama, and like the media try to roast him over that. But that was kind of like the the last thing he did, I think, was that like 2012? It must have been when Mitt Romney was running, maybe.
I have no idea. Mitt Romney's a fucking,
But I think
idiot.
that's when it was, anyways. But
He's a spook, for sure.
But he's a Mormon, confirmed.
Spook Mormon. Yeah, that's what he is, dude. Trying to infiltrate. Doesn't he have like 11 kids or some shit?
If he's got 11, he's got 1,000. As far as
he's
I'm
got
concerned.
I think he's got 7 for sure. He's got a lot of kids, dude.
Yeah, he's Mormon.
Yeah, they be fucking straight. I mean, when you can't have coffee, you have no other outlet.
Yeah.
You have nothing.
Except for making babies. That's all your aggression gets
Mormons.
out. Yeah, making Mormons.
Probably. Do you know how like everyone's just before we go? Do you know how everyone's got like Biden voters posting their own L's and like all these like accounts and shit?
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious. Count Dankula made Amish people posting their own L's, and then he just says one day like it was pretty funny. You get because Amish people don't have internet and they don't do that shit. It is fucking. Let me find it really quick. I just want to show you it. It's pretty hilarious. He's a big old libertarian. I like him, dude. I like Count Dankula. He's pretty freaking hilarious. He posts some really like. How can you have porn on here, but you can't talk about being a conservative? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, I can't find it. He posts too much. Or maybe I missed it. It was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how people get away with this shit on here, but you like, oh, here it is. Here it is. I'll send it. Sending. There it is. You show that to the people.
What did you send on Twitter?
Yeah. The Amish people posting their own L's, and he's like, any day now. 2 hours. That's fucking great.
Let's see. I said it's kind of hard to see on here, but
That's great. I just like it's such a good humor. It's such simple. Because they'll never like. It's so good, dude. That's so hilarious.
That's pretty.
Any
clever.
day now.
Pretty clever.
Any day now.
Pretty clever.
Yeah. Not bad, dude. Not bad. But anyway, well, that was a good episode. Hope you guys have a good night.
Good to wrap it up there. If you'd like to know more about Zoobox, there's a bunch of links in the description. Go follow us over. If you see this on this channel, go follow us over at Zoobox Podcast. Go look up that channel. Go subscribe there.
Yeah.
Because that's where most of the meat of the content is. Also, there'll be re-uploads of these videos while we're using this to live stream.
And there's plenty you can catch up on. Too.
Oh, yeah. There's literally hundreds of videos there. So you're good to go. You're good to go. All right, everybody. You have the best night ever, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.